We're live. Welcome to the masturbating session. Joining us today, the perfect being, Mentalic.
Ella.
Oh, no intro. Okay.
I mean, I'm early for
Silent
once.
Blank.
Not being
Silent
late used to be
Blanco,
my skit.
aka Silent Blanco, aka the Hood Otaku,
What's up? I stand
and
with the OG soul.
Omega Max,
In
the
the
deadliest of all.
end, it didn't really matter. I tried so hard to get so far. The fuck are you doing on the internet, bitch? Huh?
What kind of opening is that?
Okay, so maybe our next guest is also like coming at the same time. But anyways, we are here back today, earlier than usual this time. I didn't take 2 months or 3 months this time. And it's not going to be about wrestling. After a long time. When was the last time I did a stream? What was it, December? I don't
Not
know.
rest. Yeah.
I was just like, and this is like the first time I had other people besides Wolf. After a long time. This is like the first time in a year where I had other people besides Wolf. In this year, what I meant. Anyways. So we're here to talk about the Dragon Ball Super Hero movie. And I don't know when I'm going to do a chrono stream. Like that fucking thing is taking most of my life away. How long has it been going on? 2020 of December. It's 2022
And
right
it's
now.
still going on. And Vegeta is
They-
still shit.
It says something when the manga arc that is like taking place before this movie is continuing on while the movie is already released in Japan. I'm pretty sure in August they would still continue the chronology arc. It's like not even halfway near finished. You'll see Gas unlock a new form or something.
Looks like more.
Anyway. Oh my
Well,
god,
technically, he's getting
I
older. Well, technically, Guess is getting
I-
older.
I mean, you remember 7-3 can like come up and like eat him up or something.
Yeah, but remember the wish. But remember, like the wish to get stronger takes some years off your life.
No,
So
like
I'm
that's what I'm
guessing
saying.
it
Like
goes
when the moment you see Gas get beaten up, you'll see like 7-3 show up and like eat Gas Moro style. So he can look like another perfect self.
Oh,
This could very well
wait, if
happen.
they-
I'm not.
wait, you think they might bring seven? If they bring 7-3 back, what?
I'm telling. I swear, if this is going to continue till December, we went from Moro years to granola years. Oh God. Anyways, this movie that fucked up the entire perception of continuity amongst fans came before the chronology arc was finished, and now let's just talk about the movie. There are a lot
Yeah,
of we'll do a gas granola stream when it's finished. Maybe I'll do a Moro super stream too to vent that little coat out of my chest. Anyways, so this movie takes place before an year before the end of Z. They're never going to go after end of Z, aren't they? Even though they're very, very near now. Where do I start with? Okay, I'll just say it right now, the movie is good. Except for one part that we'll get into later. And some other as-per transformations that we'll also get into later, which I like. But I see where the problem comes from. But other than that, I think it needs to be mentioned that when like they first announced the movie on CGI, and that came on Geekdom Stream, me and Wolf took an entire shit on Geekdom because we all thought he was being retarded, and turns out he was not being retarded. They actually pulled the fucking CGI on, and once you like hear a anime movie in CGI, you just get like Berserk 2016 vibes. I'm talking about the before
like,
the
overhyping Gohan and Cell Max. He's still being
No, I'm talking about like when the movie was announced in CGI. I will get to that little nugget later. But
all right.
CGI was good. I don't want them to do this entirely. Like, they should really stick with 2D animation. I still wish they stick with the Shintani style.
Yeah,
but
same here.
It was pretty good.
Because
I mean, it could be a bit spotty at some
Dragon
times,
Ball,
but it was decent.
Here's the thing: Dragon Ball is like fast, it's action packed. Meaning there's gonna be a lot of fast there's gonna be like a lot of fast movements. In 3D, at times feel stiff. Like the 3D movement just feels stiff.
I didn't think that happened with the fight though. Like, everything was choreographed better and like flowed better, but it's still like you kind of wish it happened like. So the major criticism of the 3D thing is not that there's any.
I mean, like, if you compare the 3D to 2D, yeah, no,
but
like if you can.
Well, I was going to say like the major criticism is more nothing to do with like the animation, but more like if something's not broken, then there's no point in fixing it. Like Shintani style was like pretty praised for its animation and how easily things flow. Because it's a simpler art style, and when something is simple, it can like move better and flow better. And it just like caused everyone to like show off their animation. But doing a CGI is like a strange decision. One, because CGI was never the strong suit of Dragon Ball, even though there have been instances where it has been good, like with the Broly movie. And then you just changing something you've never done before. And I think a lot of the credit for the great CGI animation should be given to the time delay because of the toy hack. I'm not condoning the toy hack, but at the same time, it just gave them more time to do some stuff. Otherwise, you would have seen something like a Berserk, something like, or maybe, like there was like a trailer that they posted of like Gamma 1 like shooting a key blast and Gohan just like deflected. In the trailer, it looked like horrible. And they changed that part around, repolished it and made it better. But never do this.
Fair, when it comes to special effects, that is like where the CGI shines when it comes to special effects in Dragon Ball. I mean, like remember when Broly did that huge spirit bomb like attack?
Yeah.
Those effects were sick.
Like the other thing is like it's a nice thing. It exceeded expectation, but it just gives me this weird, strange feeling that Toei is going to go along with the CGI. And if that is the case, then oh well. I just hope they stick with 2D animation. One Piece is killing it because they're using the same Shintani art style. And Dragon Ball should continue with that instead of either Yamamuro's one or fucking CGI one.
Yamamoto, his shit looked too plastic. Like, the Shintani style looks clean and shit. Like, I like that better, and it flows better with the movement and everything.
Yamamuro's stuff was a product of its time, and at this point, they should just stick with the simpler art style.
But the classic Yamamoto style was good for the 90s and shit and 80s. But nowadays, modern style, it just sucks.
Oh, there he is. Welcome, Natsu. Oh, Shazasta man.
Yeah, you can call me Shazaz. Yeah, whatever. Sorry guys, I took a bit, but how are you guys?
And we fine.
So we're
All right,
good.
all right. So where are we with the whole? What are you guys talking about right now?
We just started. We were like talking about the animation right now, like how it's better than expected,
Mm-hmm.
but they shouldn't continue with this in the long run. For this movie, it was fine, but
Well,
just
I mean,
keep to
well,
Broly art style.
yeah, I was actually kind of surprised with how nice it looked. I wasn't expecting to like it actually. Like the fight,
They're hmm?
like the fight scenes and stuff. They looked epic.
And yeah, but like it it was a strange choice that worked in the end,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not something they should continue with in the long run.
I
Yeah.
agree.
But
Yeah, I
besides
mean,
that,
Though
hmm?
I do agree that the CG could have been done better.
yeah,
I mean, let me see, a game that actually does some of the scenes really good. There's like, in some instances, Dragon Ball Kakarot has some like good CG, and then there's Fighter Z that also has like good action CG.
like the other thing is, we like just to tell you how we watched this movie because it's not anywhere around us, it's only in Japan. I'm sure none of us live in Japan, and but like people
Nah,
posted like pirated, like people like recorded it and posted it on YouTube, and someone posted it on some website with English subtitles. So even though it's low quality, it's clear enough for me. I don't know how if I can speak for you guys, but it was clear enough for
It was
me.
it was clear enough. Yeah.
it's really the most. It
But
was clear the most of the places.
this is still the kind of movie you should still watch in theaters though, because judging it based on the cam print. But yeah, I agree with you. There are some shots that look wonky. It's like, and one that kind of made people not like the new transformations. But we'll get to that in a second. So so animation is good. Storyboarding, like I was going to like it either way
Mm-hmm.
because it's not a Goku and Vegeta story.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
for the most part, like the Broly movie had no Gohan in it. Like there's not a single scene with Gohan. And even Goten showed up. He got more screen time than Gohan did. So they were like, you know what? We didn't have Piccolo do anything in the movie. We didn't have Gohan even appear in the movie. So let's just make this entire movie about them. And I like that they did that. I'm fine with either 3 back-to-back stories without Goku and Vegeta at this point.
Oh, one other
I don't.
praise I could give it. I'm glad they did not pull a Wrath of the Dragon where the
Least-
movie was nothing about Goku and then Goku just shows up last minute.
True.
I'm glad they pulled
Mhm.
that shit.
It would be counterproductive if like you trying to make a movie about Gohan and then Goku showed up, pull some assful move.
Yeah.
Well, I think the story was kind of weak, as usual, because I mean, Dragon Ball is I don't think Dragon Ball is known for it, so like I don't really blame them. I'm happy that this is not about Goku and Vegeta, but this was more based on like Piccolo. Piccolo felt like the main character actually. He felt like this story was around him more, because when it comes to Gohan we didn't see that much. I really liked how Piccolo was being that detective type and going in and trying to figure out all the stuff. I still don't know how they were not able to detect who he was. But still, I'll let it pass. But the story overall wasn't the greatest in my opinion, because the villain wasn't really like a villain.
We'll get to
wasn't
that.
really even a
That's the major
character.
problem.
Oh yeah,
That's a big problem.
Yeah. Now, so how they weren't able to locate Piccolo is because Dragon Ball characters can lower their ki to a certain level.
I know.
But
So yeah, that was
like
probably how they weren't able to pick up on him.
everyone's like making like Gohan the main protagonist. I think Piccolo was, because Piccolo got like the most scenes, and that is why I hate when like people say like Goku's like the main character when in Super he's sharing the same spotlight with Vegeta. So it's just like two same characters that are the main characters. Goku's like the face of the entire franchise, but in this particular series, he's sharing scenes with Vegeta. I think it can be argued that both of them are. And in this movie, Piccolo got like the most scene, and
it's like back in Dragon Ball Z with the Saiyan to Frieza arc. Goku was more like Goku was more like his role was similar to that of All Might, and Gohan was like the main character of the Z for the most part.
Yeah, and the argument can be made like Krillin was the main character for at least Cell Saga, where he was sharing the most spotlight. Like the most of the time, the screen was on him and the things he was doing.
Though here's why I think Gohan was the main character of this movie, because the story was about Gohan.
I mean, initially it was going to be a Piccolo movie with just Piccolo in it, but then they changed it to let's have Gohan, because I think that like someone in the background like told Toriyama like let's have Gohan in it, because it would make no sense for a daughter of Gohan's being around with Piccolo without the father of the daughter. That is, I don't know, like it would be weird for Pan's father not only have any scenes but not be in this movie, have a major role.
I mean, I essentially think
it
was
could be in the movie. It's just if it was going to be a Pan movie, then just make it a Pan movie. Or if it was going to be a Piccolo movie, make it a Piccolo movie.
I essentially, yeah, sorry.
Like they don't like if they weren't like if they are just shooting Gohan, like they're just giving Gohan more of the spotlight because someone wanted Gohan to be in the movie. They could have just made him play like a supportive role or like a side role, and still kept with the plot.
I mean, they could, but at the same time, it would be a bit strange. Like here's the thing: Pan is almost as much of a main character or central figure as Gohan is, and I think she has even more screen time than Gohan did. But the other thing is, do you want like if it's a movie on her and like she ends up beating some androids, wouldn't people just say that 3-year-old can now beat the shit out of everyone? People are already complaining about this, like they're just going to complain about Pan a lot more, but we'll get to Pan.
Yeah, but I do think this is a movie based on Piccolo more than Gohan, because we were like watching Piccolo's view of how the world works more than Gohan's. But Gohan, but it was still about Gohan as well, because they were just, they were kind of giving us hints. I really like how they use Gohan in this movie. Like he wasn't shoved in your face all the time. We still had subtle mentions of him from the get-go, like when Piccolo had a talk with Pan. It was a
oh my gosh, you brought a Whis. The CGI on Whis.
Excuse me?
I hated the CGI on, like, the CGI does not look good on Whis.
Oh, I wasn't talking about Whis.
Oh.
Yeah, I was saying, like, how early on, when Piccolo and Pan had a talk about Gohan, like, is Gohan a strong fighter and stuff like that? Like, like she wanted to see her dad fight because she never got to see him fight. So yeah. I mean, I like how they were mentioning Gohan like that instead of shoving him down our face and stuff like that. So it was a movie based on Piccolo's perspective, but I feel like Gohan essentially was going to be the main hero, and it showed in this movie that you don't really need Goku and Vegeta. You can have Gohan and Piccolo. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, that is true, and like Gohan, there was a part in the movie where Piccolo went to Gohan's house when Videl told him to go pick up when Videl told Piccolo to go pick up Pen because Piccolo was wondering why Gohan wasn't going.
Right.
And then he was like, and then he told Gohan that he should train because any threat, because they don't know like what type of threat could like show up. And Gohan was like, well, he always got his dad in Vegeta. Showing like how Gohan really doesn't care about fighting.
It is like a parallel to Goku. Now, since you mentioned that part, let's get the elephant out of the way. There's like a lot of issue with like them saying they just like regressing Gohan's character because he went from point A to point null real quick. Because the entire Frieza saga, wait a minute. After like the resurrection of his like saga, like taught Gohan like he can't just like depend on Goku and Vegeta all the time, so he needs to like train more. And in this movie, after the tournament of power, Gohan went back to slacking off on training again.
Yep.
And that is a good point if you like taking the anime in regard, because in the manga, like there was like no such thing. Gohan just like trained for like one day or something, and boom, he just like got ultimate form back. And then he's like, first, like I don't think it's more of like Gohan just like became weak. It's more like, okay, he got weak, but not in the same level he was before Tournament of Power, huh?
It's more like how do I put this? It's not that he got weak. It's more that how do I put this?
He's not getting stronger. He's not getting stronger.
If you don't like let's say if you don't train, your skills are not going to be as sharp as they were. As like when Piccolo struck, like as when Piccolo kneed Gohan's stomach, which showed that Gohan's skills weren't as sharp as they used to be.
There's that, and then there's also the fact that like it sometimes it happens when you're working and you don't have anything else to do. It happens with me. When I'm working, I have like nothing to do, and even like certain things that I was doing beforehand, whether it's taking long walks or like exercising, I'm not doing it anymore because of the work. And the other thing is like you just get absorbed into it. And the other thing is like Gohan was practicing a move in secret that we'll get into later. So and he was not rusty as he was before, let's say, Tournament of Power. It's just that again he just lost his ultimate form back, and which is something I'll forgive them for, considering that it took years for them to just like. I see the argument. I'll just say this. I think there's an argument to be made that why is he going through the same thing again? But at the same time, it's not as bad as it was before. I'll just stick you to that.
I also I might be one of the few, but I kind of like this character arc of Gohan.
It got explored better here, yeah. With like Gohan just like dumping things on Goku and Vegeta, like all the Gohan apologists want him to do. Yeah, but I think this is like a perfect platform for him to be explored, because in Tournament of Power he just got his powers back, whether it's in the anime or the manga, and it just felt kind of okay. So this is this entire series is like dedicated on him training and getting his senses back, and he just like disappointed.
And in the movie, it's not shown as a good Gohan. It's not shown as a good thing that Gohan is relying too heavily on Goku and Vegeta. Like it's
treated as a bad thing too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's like two instances in the movie that made me kind of think about like what are they trying to do here, because in the beginning, when Piccolo changes clothes into Piccolo costume, which made it a little heavier, he wasn't really able to stand up and stuff. So I was assuming that they were gonna show us a little bit of him like kind of getting used to that in training, but instead of doing that, they basically just showed us a shot of him just being relaxed and wearing that and not having any issues. I'm assuming that during the off panel, this is just my headcanon, like he was actually getting used to it, and when he got used to it, he got better. But then there was another instance where Piccolo showed up, and he wasn't able to sense the key of Piccolo when his daughter could.
Yeah.
So like they made him worse than a kid at that point. So for him to like not able to sense his key and then get into the fight that he got into, I mean, it just kind of made me wonder, like how the heck, I don't know, some of it just wasn't believable for me to see him get as powerful as he did so fast. But this is Dragon Ball we're talking about, and this is something that usually happens.
And this is a movie, so they won't have a lot of time to explain everything, which is an issue. And I wish they just like continue the anime instead of doing this movie, because there's a lot of unexplored territory there. But before mentality, yes, has not been speaking.
What'd you say?
Do you want to say anything about Gohan before the transformation happened?
I didn't really see the whole movie though. I only saw like the last 20 minutes of it though.
Oh,
Like the transformation doesn't seem that so great though.
but do you have anything to say about Gohan not training again and leaving everything to Goku and Vegeta? Shit.
Oh,
He's watching.
Hey, Masturbator. Masturbator. What I found kind of funny is how Gohan is becoming more and more like Goku.
No, dear Goku. Goku is at least keeping his strength up. This guy is just like chatting about insects.
No. I mean, like with the whole kid thing, like they're dumping the kids, like both Goku and Gohan dump their kids on Piccolo.
I least like how Piccolo.
Yeah, go on.
I like how unlike in before when he was like telling this to Goku, I like how Piccolo was calling out Gohan more. This is your fucking kid. Why am I trying to babysit this kid? Why am I more of a virgin than you are?
That is true. His daughter kind of did remind me of Gohan and Piccolo training and stuff like that. But I think Gohan and Piccolo have more of a connection than Goku and Piccolo did, because Piccolo is like the former mentor of Gohan and stuff. So I really liked how I felt like he was like a second dad in the movie. It was actually pretty adorable. I'm not gonna lie. Like they were giving him like
the stuffed animal thing.
Yeah, stuffed animal. Yeah, that was actually pretty cool. I like that.
It was funny
I like
because
Piccolo
he doesn't like those stuffed animals, but they just keep getting it for him.
Yeah.
I'll say this, it might be a bit of a hot take. I like the Piccolo and Pan interaction more than I like Gohan and Piccolo interaction. Simply because it's done with a more mature Piccolo, unlike before, where Piccolo went from abusing the kid to eventually seeing him as a friend or something. This one,
I mean, Masturbate, to be fair, Piccolo was 8.
yeah, but still, like, a more mature Piccolo and Pan is better. I'm not saying either of them are bad, I'm just saying one slightly better. Silent, you were saying something?
I mean, Piccolo was a dick to Gohan in Dragon Ball Z, in the Saiyan Saga.
Again,
yeah.
I actually don't disagree with that, but I also feel like the way that Piccolo was needed because Gohan was like a whiny baby. So
I mean, yeah, that is true too. He was crying all the time.
Yeah,
and being a damsel in distress.
Right, Pan wasn't the same. Pan was like very smart and respectful.
Okay, about Gohan there. To be fair, Gohan had just lost his dad and got taken away from his home by this strange green creature. Could you blame him for crying?
No, nobody's blaming anyone. But I like the nice Piccolo and how do I say it without sounding like a priest? what's the word I'm looking for? Lively Pan. Then I like a Dick Piccolo with for understandable reason, like a Dick Piccolo and a crying Gohan at the start. At least this one, you can kind of see why Piccolo is like more reliable.
No, I mean you like, yeah, I get it. You like Piccolo's character growth over the time. You can see it. But like to compare the two is not fair.
Yeah, true. I'm not like going. I'm just like saying that it's like this one's better. But the other thing I want to say is with Pan, like there was like a lot of criticism with Pan because the first thing you like know about Pan is like her damsel in distress GT version, because where she's getting caught by all the evil bad guys and it's up to Goku to save her. She didn't even go super. I don't know if she could go Super Saiyan, but she doesn't even go Super Saiyan. It was a far cry of her from Endo Z where she is training and stuff. They just made her, I don't know, just an annoying brat.
And the one fact she can't even fly, but she flew as a baby.
But that I'll get to that. I'll defend that part. But
yeah, sorry. Yeah, but this movie was more about I'll say like if it was about Piccolo, Gohan, it was also about Pan.
Yeah,
I thought Pan played a big role. Yeah, but go on.
But what I was like getting into like, I'm not. Okay, Vandale.
Another thing I like is like, you know how they talked about how Piccolo's like intelligent.
Yeah.
You know, like throughout Z, they talked about how Piccolo's intelligent. In this movie, they actually show it.
Yeah, but like, what I was like waiting to say is like Pan. Like when you think of Pan, you just like remember like this useless character, almost Sakura-like in Dragon Ball GT, who does absolutely nothing but cry, and it becomes even more of an issue when she's basically taking the spotlight off of Whoop, the one who was supposed to be Goku's successor. But you can also put the blame on Trunks. But Pan, like when people want to talk shit about GT, they just like simply point at Pan for this series not being good. And this one, she was. I don't know what they were doing with her.
I disagree. Go on.
But
like yeah. So like, okay, sorry. So you know, like how you're saying that there were people that didn't like Pan in that series. I actually didn't mind Pan. I think Pan was all right. All right, she wasn't the worst thing about the series. I think the series had more issues than just Pan. But you know what? That people have opinions. That's fine. Like, go on.
No. Like one of the things they point at, but yeah. I misphrased what I said.
But GT Pan's not that bad.
Well, I would have liked if they like went from being useless to being like, and there was like an episode where she was like, she can't just like expect everyone to save her, and she was kind of instrumental in having Goku become like great ape, and apparently her base form is stronger than a Super Saiyan. But it's more like telling stuff versus showing stuff. And they could have had Pan do something more than they did.
That's true.
Especially if she's one of the people who is supposed to be built as a special.
That's true. I can't.
And same could go for Oob and GT, but yeah. No,
yeah.
All right, go on.
They misused a lot of characters, but yeah, like there's more of a problem with GT than just Pan. But in here they kind of did the damsel in distress part, but it was basically a part of a plan where she's just playing along and she's like some super child instead of the whiny teenager. But we'll see how this will continue. She's only 3.
I actually liked how they did that. I'm glad that she was like, I really loved her acting though. It was funny. Like, Dad, please come save me. So like, I found that hilarious when they made that video in that movie. Yeah, but I do think that this is too early to judge because I mean this is just a little bit of Pan that we saw, and plus like I feel like GT, at least for me, right? GT helped with the fact that I actually like Pan. Like I was interested in knowing who Pan is because of GT. So I wanted to see like what this version of Pan would do. So far, I think her presentation was fine. She was there as a reminder that Gohan used to be little, and he used to have a mentor like Piccolo and stuff like that. So and like she wanted to see Gohan's power, so she helped the whole I feel like plot. So yeah, I like how they used.
No, keep going.
Yeah,
I'll mention the elephant in the room later.
All right,
but
yeah,
if you,
go on.
the elephant in the room, Pan doesn't know how to fly. There is a defense for it, and I don't know if it should be applied for everyone, but there's like a defense for it. Like you can like argue that why couldn't Goten and Trunks and Gohan do it as a kid, but Pan could.
Okay, so
Go ahead.
okay, I do got a defense for it, I guess. I mean, you could call it a defense, you could call it whatever, but like when she was a baby, she wasn't in control of doing that. So like if she did it, she did it uncontrollably. But like there's a difference between doing it by for real or by fluke. So I think when she was little, she did it by fluke and stuff like that. But either way, that shouldn't happen. Baby shouldn't be flying. But I feel like in this story, right, her being able to fly eventually, which she did, it played a good role in allowing us to see like like how Gohan, Piccolo overcame their obstacles and became powerful and then unlocked their potential. She basically did in the end. And I liked how they used that flying aspect of her to showcase that.
Well, yeah. Besides the fact that we don't know what continuity it happened, because in anime she could, and in the manga she never did. The other thing is like babies have a tendency to learn by instinct. They don't learn, but they just like do it by instinct. Do you know babies know how to like do swimming? Like they know exactly how to move their legs around when they're in like water. And that is something you have to learn over as a kid after 6 months. This is the same thing with Pan. And you can forgive it simply for...
But there are also babies that know how to, learn how to get up and walk, and then that sticks with them for life.
Sorry. No, but that has happened after 6 months. Babies know how to like do swimming, at least move their legs around. And after 6 months, they just forget it. But it happens where you can do something by instinct, and then you have to like learn it. And I think like she just like flew by instinct. But as she grew up, she had to like relearn it because she doesn't know how she did it in the first place.
Exactly. It's like no different than you doing something that you never did before, but you never understood why. But then eventually you learn how to do it.
Yeah. Just a second. There are defenses, but I think like that part can be forgiven.
All right, moving on.
So Red Ribbon Army is like the movie started off with like what Red Ribbon Army was doing. And Red Ribbon Army would just like never go away. I'm pretty sure in future, when a time skip happens, they're just going to go with Red Ribbon Army again. But like, so I saw the design of Gamma 1 and Gamma 2, and I just like thought that they would like suck. And they didn't suck, surprisingly. They were deeper characters than I thought they were, even though they weren't that deep. But that they were never the bad guys, but it's still like, why create another?
Gamma 2 was my favorite of the two. Gamma 2 is my favorite.
Gamma 2 is my favorite too, because you just thought that he was like some goofy character, but he's goofy, but then he's also like serious. He has more of a moral. What's the word I'm looking for? The more like something related with like having like better morals than the other guy.
Okay.
But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I know why. But Gamma 2 versus Piccolo fight kind of reminded me of 17 versus Piccolo.
Yeah.
Like I really liked how they started off with that and showcase like how the fight is actually. And what was interesting is like when he was doing, so like they were trying to keep the superhero element, and in superhero comics and stuff, when they do a move, they have some letters behind it. I found that interesting how they tried to differentiate like what a superhero is and what a regular Z fighter is by adding those letters. Piccolo was confused, like, why are the letters around?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, what were we gonna say?
I might get hate for this, but Gamma 2 kind of reminds me of Fu from Dragon Ball Heroes or Dragon Ball Xenoverse.
Who?
Few, he's like Dragon Ball answer to Kabuto.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
he's just as deadly and just as goofy.
But it works for him. So yeah, like getting to the Piccolo versus few fight. I like the first part. I like all the fights were like choreographed better, which is like another thing I liked about the CGI. Like fights seemed choreographed better. It's like it's not just like people punching and kicking each other at supersonic speed. You actually see like certain moves being used, martial arts move or wrestling move. And Piccolo and this like their fight is easy like to follow through. And I like the part where like Gamma and like Piccolo like Gamma is like punching and kicking Piccolo, and they're just like using those comic book sound of like comic book words.
Yeah,
Boom.
I like that. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, when it comes to the fights, right? So, sorry to cut you off, Metallic. But going back to the fights, I feel like I'm a big critic of when it comes to like fights of Dragon Ball because I see so many different anime that do it better. I feel. But what I'm happy about is that they, like you said, they actually choreographed it very well, and I was surprised they didn't do the ta 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 too much. You know, that part annoys the heck out of me.
Right.
When majority of the fights are
Totally
just them just exchanging blows over and over again, it's just super annoying, bro. Like, do something new, right? But in these fights, you know, you actually saw different moves being used, and like you felt those punches, those blows that were happening, and I'm really happy about that. I can't believe I'm saying this about a Dragon Ball movie, but they really did fight very well.
Oh, can I talk about that one scene with those two characters? Well, 3 characters technically.
It's 3 characters.
Goku, Vegeta, and Broly, because there was a part in that scene that had me busting out laughing when I saw it.
I actually wanted to get into that actually, but I was waiting until we got to it because there's I got some thoughts about that about their exchange and that. But
while we're getting to that, I just like this minor thing, and I'm just going to keep it as short as simple. Dr. Hido is a better super version of Dr. Zero than I gave him credit for, because I just thought him like weird otaku who just like dresses up in superhero and makes weird poses. But I actually like that he's way more cunning, and then we give him credit for like there was like a scene where you thought he was getting played, but turns out he knew all along what's going to happen, but he just did it simply because he's getting more money out of it. And the other reason, if things ever go south, he can just use his insect. You cannot shoot the dude because he reinforced his skin to like absorb shock, some level of shock, whether it sells power or gunshot, the gun wounds or something. But the other thing is like, you know that like if Magenta ever tries to cross him, he can just like use his insect, weird robotic insect, to just like sting Magenta. And I like that he's the one who double crossed, and he was like the one who played the other dude. But then the Magenta released the final villain. But yeah, like I like this guy, and I like to see something more done with him. But besides that,
To be honest, he should have been the final villain.
Well, you're talking about Dr. Hido, right?
Yeah, Dr. Hido.
I think it's a good time to talk about like what we thought about him, and then in that case, like I felt like he was like a mixture of. I mean, he looked goofy. Look, I'm gonna be honest, design wise, he looks goofy as heck. If I didn't know anything about him, I mean, I was like thinking, who is he? Like, well, why am I supposed to take him seriously? I mean, I actually never took him seriously throughout the movie. He's like a mixture of Majin Buu and some average kid. Like I don't know, I got some Majin Buu vibes. And then he has those eyes that look kind of serious. he does give you like that villainy vibes. I actually wouldn't have minded if he was actually a bad villain, but I did enjoy the twist of him thinking that the Z fighters were like the bad guys because of so and so reasons, like how he got manipulated and drug. Overall as a character, I felt like he was fantastic when it came to like inventing things and all that mumbo jumbo. I actually didn't. I'll say I didn't really hate him or mind him that much. He was just all right.
Okay. My thoughts on Dr. Hito. I think he should have been the final villain because he's shown just kind of the stuff he does is just sadistic. But there is one question I have: is he just a remodel of a previous character from the Bio Broly movie?
Bio Broly.
Or is that the same?
Bio Broly. That's a remodel. A lot of the characters were like Magenta is like a remodel of this guy from Bio Broly who hated Hercules and was like funding all the bio people or something. I don't know what they were. And he was also the funding Bio Broly. And Magenta, I think, was scientist there too. But in this one, they actually had him be the grandson of Dr. Jero and Android 21.
All right, guys. This is kind of off topic, but what is up with them eating every time in the movie? Like that, someone was eating something in the movie, and I was like, dude, I feel like I should get something to eat.
Oreos. I saw them eating Oreos, and I was like, I want some Oreos now.
Same. Like, why?
Oh yeah. You know the funny thing about Hito is he's just a kid.
That's true.
But like another thing I want to say is like how like he's drinking cola, he keeps eating Oreos. I know he's fat, but don't you think you just like reach diabetes soon? Even I control myself with sweets. But anyway.
Well, I think they
maybe
to show that he's young.
Yeah, I mean he was like a kid, but I think it's a good time to move on to the Beerus, Whis, and Goku and Vegeta.
I'll just say last thing and then I'll like stop. I'm pretty sure he has some serum for controlling sugar levels, but yeah, like getting to Goku, Beerus, and Broly and Whis, yeah.
Which model sucks? Whis 3D model sucks.
Oh, you didn't like Whis' model?
No, I did not like Whis' 3D model.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. It's just so weird to me.
I see where you're coming from, yeah.
Okay, yeah, so what are your thoughts, Master Bader, about that overall that point? I think we start off with seeing that Goku and Broly are actually fighting one another. And Goku is and Goku's telling him that he needs to stop using his rage more because he's going to
Besides the fact that they made it obviously clear they had nothing to do with the story, and I wish like they cut that part out and like focus more on the final fight, use that time for final fight. I actually like that they're having training Broly, because in Broly movie you just like Goku just like told, hey, I'm going to train you to control your powers, and you're like, ooh, actually want to see Goku training Broly for once, and friendlier Broly and whatever. And throughout like these 3 years or something, you haven't seen and them do anything with Broly. They didn't even like mention the part where Goku's like training Broly or anything. And this movie actually liked the part where Goku and Broly and Vegeta like having interaction, like Goku and Broly is at least.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that like Broly's being trained to control his powers.
Yeah.
But I've also felt like there was like a scene that they were doing, like if you saw the trailer, there's like a scene where they were doing like Goku is fighting Broly.
Yeah.
And they cut that part out just for Broly to power, which is like, okay. Maybe you just don't want to add extra scenes and that's fine. But it's like that they had nothing to do with the story. They're simply there because they want some big names in there, and that's their own purpose. But I actually like that they're training Broly. And before we get to the Vegeta and Goku fight.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, Metallic, how about you? What are your thoughts about training Goku and Broly interaction? What are your thoughts about
I'm I'm gonna say this. I am glad they're showing that Goku is training Broly. And another thing, I'm glad that Broly didn't just show up with a new form, like God, like Super Saiyan God or Super Saiyan Blue or some God Key shit.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm glad they didn't
To
do
be
that.
fair, you always knew none of them are going to use any form. I don't know why people were surprised that Broly is like disappointing and didn't do like this is a Gohan movie. What would any of them accomplish by transforming into anything? That would just like be unnecessary.
Yeah, I mean, like the fan base was just hyping up that Broly was gonna get new form. They were just hyping it up and hyping it up and hyping it up. But I'm like, that would kind of ruin the point of the movie if they did it. And I'm glad they didn't do it.
All right, so I do think that Broly being in the movie was kind of more of a fan servicey part, but I'm glad they still acknowledged him. That he still had a movie. He still exists. Broly, this version of Broly kind of reminds me a lot of Goku for some reason because he's a really unpredictable. When you look at him, you just can't tell what he wants to do. He's all about fighting, and he's really all about. He's like very powerful in general. So. I did like the interaction between Goku and Broly. I'm actually curious what Goku is trying to do with him because Broly is powerful when he goes berserk. So is he trying to make him control that? And if he does, are we going to see like a new transformation in the future of Broly? So it got me thinking about what is going to happen with Broly in the future. And yeah, it was a bit fan servicey. I don't think that they really needed Broly in this movie. But still,
They needed either of them. But they did it because it's a Dragon Ball movie, and how can you have a movie without?
Well, I kind of disagree with that. I think we did need to know about Vegeta and Goku because they were mentioned by even the people, the villains. So I think we did need to see what they were doing, but I just didn't think that they needed Broly in it necessarily. But I don't mind it either because we're gonna see what's gonna happen with Broly, and I think maybe this could lead to another movie where we see Broly use his new powers. Who knows?
Yeah, and the other part I liked is like I don't know. So this is the part I didn't like because it just feels contradictory to me. Where they said that Jiren was not that powerful against you, but he just had like controls his power better. But it's like, isn't he the same guy who just got angry and was matching Ultra Instinct blow for blow? Or the other part where he was like pushing away the spirit bomb, was he doing all of this because of how much control he has? That's a bit strange. It's not a major nitpick. I'm not going to make this a big deal out of it, but it just feels like they're now trying to downplay Jiren, where he could use this level of power because of better control instead of just being too strong.
Oh, right. Okay, about the Jiren thing. I can see Goku's point because if you remember in the Tournament of Power, he got tagged by 17. Multiple times.
I mean, true. But just him, wouldn't it be like he's getting tired out and his power is depleting to, he just has better control over his power? Then how did he go max power? How did he rip off his t-shirt? And apparently that's a new transformation too. The one where he rips off his t-shirt and matching Ultra Instinct. So that's all because of control?
That's actually a good question.
I you know what? I'm gonna be honest. Like any mention of Jiren, like I don't even care about. I don't care about that character at all. He to me was like very bland, and he was just strong for the sake of being strong. Like that's about it. And those type of characters I really don't care about. So
I'm saying this about Jiren. Like Z Broly, the backstory was not.
Whoa, what? Can you repeat that? Metallic?
Like
well,
I said, like Z Broly.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now, but your point wasn't heard because of someone. Yeah, go on. Talk.
Oh, okay. What I was saying, like, what for Jiren for me is like with Z Broly. The backstory wasn't needed. the backstory kind of make the character worse, in my opinion.
Yeah, like the other thing is like I like Jiren's not interesting, and I just like love that. Like all the Jiren fanboys and all the power scaling community is just like crying in a corner because what you mean Jiren's not that strong? But like it's a weird thing, and I'm not making a big deal because I don't care about Jiren, and I'm more betting more on Broly and Jiren when they fight each other because I like Broly better. But at the same time, they just like did a complete 180. But at the same time, whatever.
Okay.
Jiren,
Yeah, go on. Sorry.
I was just saying Jiren is Jiren, and even though they're like saying he's not that strong anymore, it's a point that you don't care about. But yeah.
Yeah, well, the reason is because at least I felt like he was just strong to fit the narrative. I feel like if the writers want him to be strong, he's gonna be strong. Like because none of what he did made any sense to me. Like I just like Metallic did say that like he's one of those characters that didn't need a backstory. I think he did need a backstory, but not the one that they gave him. Because none of it makes sense to me. Because for Broly, at least he was a Saiyan, right? At least he was a Saiyan. We know a little bit about Saiyans, but we don't know what Jiren is. Like, what is he about? Like, what makes him powerful? Besides the fact that he looks like a freaking alien that anybody's seen before. But yeah, that's all. That's all I gotta say about Jiren. I mean, I never really liked him.
I'll say like he not only needs a backstory, like a better backstory, but he needs a better personality than I'm just like a steroid hit.
That's true.
Because I wish they kind of went with the Superman personality. At least you would actually get the sense that he's only an antagonist because he's trying to save his own universe, which is not a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
But since we identify with Goku more, we would be rooting for him. But they went with the super serious route, which is all Toriyama's fault.
Yeah.
And there's a there's like a major problem if you just like introducing characters that are stronger than the God of Destruction participating in a tournament of power. And like they're going to do more stories with these people afterwards. Because what's the point of having this guy be ridiculously strong and then be like, oh, wait, you know what? There are other characters that are just coming up. And it's power creep. It's always happened in Dragon Ball. But it just screams that they had no plan. And now just like everyone's ranking off Jiren, and Jiren's kind of annoying me.
Yeah, but I think we're going off the rail here. I think we should go back to the movie.
Get back to the movie.
Yeah, so you think we're ready to talk about Goku and Vegeta fight?
Yeah, and normally I don't give a shit with Goku and Vegeta's training because we've seen this more often, and this happened in the Granola arc too, where they're training, and I'm mostly interested in the Granola part. But this one I actually liked because they were not using Kamehameha or Super Saiyans. It was mostly a martial arts fight, and that fight was choreographed really good too. But it's Goku and Vegeta, and you've seen these training montages over and over. You also saw Goku and Vegeta's power over and over.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, how can you care? But I actually like the fight here.
All right. Go on, Metallic. You were going to say something?
Okay. First in the Broly movie, it was the Rasengan. Then in the Moral Saga, it was the Susanoo. And now in this movie, Goku does the Naruto run.
Hey, might as well go all the way.
I know, right?
All right, how does he do a Naruto run? Oh, he does a run on Naruto?
Yeah, before, you remember like the scene where he's like charging at Vegeta?
Yeah.
Before like when they started?
Yeah.
So he just like ran towards Vegeta and he had like his arms back.
Oh, I didn't notice that. I gotta look at that again.
I didn't too.
Yeah.
Until Metallic pointed out, yeah.
Nice pointing it out. All right, go on. Oh, is that
No. I actually like how they show like Vegeta is. I actually like this fight with Goku and Vegeta because it actually does show Vegeta's progressing.
Mm-hmm.
Like it shows Vegeta catching up to Goku.
Okay.
And this is another thing. Like, if you didn't like, I don't know if I should get to this Beerus and Chila part, but if you like trying to like the reason Jiren was mentioned is because Vegeta's basically trying to fight like Jiren, and I like if they were not going to make anything that happened in the manga canon, this is like a good way, whether without it or with it. But
Okay.
like I like yeah, like I like that part, and I like that they didn't show any projectiles, so Vegeta's you can actually see Vegeta's more martial art attributes in.
Well, so Whis did make okay. So I'm gonna give you guys my thoughts about this whole fight. But the thing is that Whis did make a rule about not going Super Saiyan and not using projectiles. And in the beginning, I was thinking, you know what, we're gonna lose all that flashy stuff that they can do. That's kind of different, you know, especially if you want to see Goku and Vegeta thing. And you know, Goku and Vegeta fight, in my opinion, it just looked like a fan service moment. Like if you're gonna have a Goku and Vegeta fight, no way the movie is gonna be trash, because I feel like some people still are into these characters and they want to see them fight. But I gotta say, compared to every other fight they had, I felt like this was kind of different. Like Vegeta was not fighting like how he usually does. Goku was more of the aggressor. Goku was coming in and he was trying to throw all the blows and stuff like that, whereas Vegeta was very calm and collective, and then using his mind more compared to his bronze. And in the past, like I've seen Vegeta just go ham, like not non-stop. So it made the fights, I feel like, kind of one-dimensional and boring, because if Goku and Vegeta are gonna both be in the same tempo of wanting to beat each other up, then I feel like there isn't much difference between how they're fighting. So I really liked how Vegeta was more of the dude that was trying to block, whereas Goku was more of the aggressor. And it made for like a different version of Vegeta that we never saw before.
And you know, like I kind of like I understand that it was all done for comedic gag, and I like forgive it for it. I don't make a big deal out of it. But I know that they were going to have like a even fight between Goku and Vegeta. But considering that Vegeta's whole point is let's fight like Jiren instead of using these wasted movements, I kind of wish Vegeta dominated the fight a bit more instead of an even fight, but I can forgive it. It's how can you have like Vegeta destroy Goku? That would be dull too. But...
Oh yeah, I made the mistake when I saw that clip again and looking at the comment section, because oh my gosh, people were bitching about Vegeta because people were bitching about Vegeta catching other Goku. Like saying that if that fight was for real, Vegeta wouldn't even been able to block many of Goku's attacks.
They're power scalers, and I don't take them seriously.
I made a mistake of looking at that conversation.
Okay, well, we're gonna find this out later when we talk about it, but I don't think Goku just has to worry about Vegeta right now. I think there's another guy he needs to worry about. But go on.
Like they keep, like at the end of the day, I don't mind. Like it keeps getting told at the same level, and I don't know why it's so hard to believe it is. But the other thing I want to say is like, I like if there was like a point to this, I would have understand. But they've like it just like pointed all that Vegeta training meaningless. But we'll see. It's
okay.
My point was I kind of wish they did something, but it would have been dull too. And this one was born better. I actually like that Vegeta. There's a movie where Vegeta won, and he did it in L afterwards.
Yeah, that was funny, but you know we never saw him win, so I don't count it as a win. But yeah, like what do you call it? I did enjoy like I mean I don't really like Beerus usually like because he's just a goofball. But I really liked how he made a random Frieza army man seem irrelevant because of his cooking. And once again, they brought in food again, man. Like, if you're not eating while watching this movie, you're missing out. But the food looked delicious.
Yeah. I get your point. Because when
the food looked delicious.
Now that I remember when I was watching that thing, I literally went to the fridge and got me a drink and some food.
All right, so after that, right? After that moment, I mean, I think we saw more of Piccolo. Oh yeah, Piccolo meeting Shenron, I guess. Getting the power up. What did you guys think about that?
I'll let you both start, and then because I have like a long thing to say. Some things I like and they things I didn't like. But
all right, like, how about you start off?
I'm gonna talk about the scene itself. I'm gonna talk about what I like about it itself. I'm not gonna go into what I don't, because it does introduce a problem with a certain community. But I'm gonna get into that later. But what I do like is that Piccolo wished for his wish to be stronger, basically, and then got he wished for his for his latent potential to be unleashed.
Mm-hmm.
And he got his wish.
Right.
Now, what I like about this is that I don't consider it an asshole.
As what?
Like, you can't really consider it an asshole.
Oh, okay.
What you didn't like?
He actually wished for it.
What you didn't like?
Like, it didn't just come out of nowhere.
Okay.
What you didn't like, Mentale?
Huh?
Yeah.
What you did not like?
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not something with the scene itself. It's something with the community.
Sure.
They were okay with this, but bitched about the granola making the same exact wish.
Right.
Yeah. Not for you. You want to?
Yeah. So the thing is that so we're getting into the part where basically Piccolo got the wish and did that. Yep. So I don't know. I am gonna talk about Piccolo, but I'm also gonna have to talk about Bulma in this situation. I'm gonna talk about both. So here's the thing. We saw that Piccolo was trying to get so in this situation, Goku and Vegeta, he was trying to contact Goku and Vegeta because he found out about the threat. But apparently they weren't able to contact Goku and Vegeta because of because of Barris, because he threw like that box or whatever on top of his radar thing. I mean, that was kind of BS. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, I was like, bruh, whatever. Anyways, that was kind of BS. Like, how they couldn't contact them. They should have done something better with that. But then moving on. Piccolo felt like, if Goku and Vegeta are not going to be here, he's going to need to be stronger to be able to take care of the threat, because he couldn't rely on Gohan either. So it was really all about him to get powerful and stronger and, be able to at least compete, because he lost a fight against number 2. He needed to become stronger. So he goes from there, and he looks around for like Dende and stuff, and asked them to give him more power because he needed it to unlock his potential, like how Gohan did. And that's true. We never really saw Piccolo get that moment of where he gets to unlock his potential like Gohan Piccolo did. From there on, like he found out that Bulma has like the 7 Dragon Balls and she uses them and stuff like that. And I was actually curious why she uses them, and then we found out why. And I think it was a nice continuation of why. So anyways, they got the same Dragon Balls. He started doing a wish, and his wish was to get him power. And you know what? The way he got his power, I'm gonna be honest. What's kind of BS? Simply because I feel like this is what Frieza. This is what the other villains wanted to do in general. But we have a good guy, like how Metallic said. We have a good guy who is using this to gain power. And how is that any better than any of those other people? I found that kind of BS.
Okay.
Yeah, what's up?
Okay. I'm gonna defend this one. Piccolo has a point as to why he needs to do it.
Okay.
Like, Piccolo has a point as to why he needs to do it. The other villains want to do it because the villains want to get stronger and be immortal because they want to take over the world and live forever while doing it. Piccolo
But
just wants the power to protect, not rely on Goku and Vegeta.
So he has a point to do it.
Yeah, he has a point to do it.
Okay, well, I mean, he could have a point to do it, but I feel like what they could have done is use Shenron to give the Dende the power to basically do what the other person that like in the Namek world, Guru, I think his name is. So they could have just done that instead of just saying, "Hey, give me power, Shenron." Like there's like other characters that need to unlock their potential too. Like I feel like Yansha and Tien and stuff like that. But either way, I'm not gonna like once again, I'm not gonna nitpick and say like this was terrible. But like I'm just happy that Piccolo got actually a power up. But I just felt like they could have used a different way to do that. But yeah. So going back to Bulma though, it is weird how Bulma looks younger and younger in every movie and every scene. So now we know why she does it is because she basically uses a Shenron to beautify herself. So I found that interesting.
I mean, they did explain that in the Broly movie that she's been making a wish like that.
Yeah, but I like how they continue that because she could have made they could have made 2 more wishes and she just did some irrelevant wishes. One of later on they acknowledged that they could have just brought back Goku and Vegeta with the wish, but they didn't do it. But yeah, anyways, go on, Masturbator. What's your take on it?
So there, like I said, like there are things I could explain why this happened because it was explainable. There was thing I liked about it, and there was thing I didn't like about it. Let me explain the why this happened because this movie's entire timeline happened in a single day, like the main story, not the part where Hito was being recruited. This entire thing with Gamma fight, the Piccolo transformation, the Gohan transformation, and Cell Max all happened in a span of a single day. And Piccolo was trying to get Goku and Vegeta to do it, but since they were not coming and nobody else was like reliable enough, Piccolo just took it upon himself. What's up, Bon? Now I like so simply because Piccolo got destroyed by Gamma too, and now he has to fight 2 androids on top of possibly and potentially Phil. I kind of understand why they did it because like Piccolo, who had no chance against one of the Gammas, much less 2 of them or maybe 3 of the androids, needed a power up, and they kind of had him like they had to give him a power up because Piccolo wouldn't have stand a chance. You couldn't even like put him in a hyperbolic time chamber because this is all happening in a span of a single day. And if Piccolo went to the hyperbolic time chamber, like Pan would have been kidnapped or not kidnapped, and no one. And I'm going to talk about the drama stuff with you later. We're doing a stream about Dragon Ball. I hope you appreciate it. I have not seen anime's video. What I was going to say. Shit, I lost my train of thought. Okay, so I like what I could explain is that because Piccolo couldn't have gone in a hyperbolic time chamber, not have Goku and Vegeta fight, and like has to depend all on himself. Okay. He had to have he needed to have his potential unlocked either by a dragon or Dende. That is the part I could explain. The part I didn't like. Okay, I'll start with the part I liked because, as Natsu said, I actually like that Piccolo getting a new form. It's like a long overdue. They just stopped giving him a power up ever since Cell Saga.
That's true.
And we reached Buu Saga, then we reached all the sagas of Super, then we can even count GT. Piccolo didn't get no power up whatsoever. And this one, this series making up for that with not just one but 2 power ups is actually kind of nice. I just hope they don't forget about it, or it's not a temporary thing. I like that they gave him a power up, and I actually like both of the power ups, like the yellow form, and even though yellow form is much to be desired, it's still nice that he got the yellow form and then the orange form. I actually like the design of that form much better. It gives him that ogre vibe that he was originally set out to be, a demon ogre.
Well,
And it made him look like Akuma.
Yeah, I'm gonna get to that later when we actually do talk about the fight. So I
But
will
yeah.
I'll talk about those forms like later. But yeah,
But the way they did it, I didn't like, because now he's wishing for his power, and as Mentale puts it, like, nobody's complaining about it when he does it, but when Bruno does it. But the other thing is, like, not only is he a good guy, and he was in a position where he had to do it, but it's more like, I wish it could have been written differently. I know it would be a bit of an asshole if he gets his power up, but you could literally say that Piccolo has been training, and he has been like holding back against Gamma too. And once he infiltrates and finds out what's going on, he has no reason to get anything out of Gamma, and therefore he goes all out.
right.
I kind of wish that they did it this way instead of him wishing for his power, because like Piccolo is a war. Like with Granola, I can defend because Granola is not a warrior. He's a sniper being who's like sucks at fighting close quarter combat. So him trying, and he was like way weaker, and he's like in a hurry now. With Piccolo, yeah, he's in a hurry too. But Piccolo's like a warrior. You think of like if he loses his moral code to a point where he's willing to wish for his power up, wouldn't he just like terminate the entire Red Ribbon army? Why wouldn't his pride allow him to like wish for his power up instead of, just like remove the entire problem? And I kind of wish he had these powers from the start, but never show it until he figure out what's going on, because it just like cheapens the thing. And I'm like, yeah, Krillin and Gohan got their power up too, but Krillin is always a bit of a cowardly dude, and Gohan was not really seeing himself as a fighter. The other thing is, if dragons can just like grant people power up, then this just like makes the problem, like, the original problem of Dragon Ball was, well, why couldn't they wish for the power up now?
Yeah.
Because at first they couldn't, and then they said now he could. So like all these fighters like Krillin, Yamchas, and TM should just like gain for a power up too.
You know what? I'm sorry, that brought up something to me though. Like, we never saw Goku unlock his potential. We never saw Vegeta unlock his potential. So can they do the same thing?
I would say this.
All do it now.
I would say this. Technically, with Kale, you could technically say Kale Ken is Goku unlocking his potential, and then some. Technically.
Yeah, but
no, I don't see it that same way. He actually trained to get that. That's the way. I mean, like, if these guys can just like wish through Dragon Balls and unlock their potential, then Goku and Vegeta have actually a more ceiling. So it does open up a lot of it opens up a book of worms, I feel. So yeah, can of worms. Sorry. Yeah, it opens up a can of worms. It doesn't really
not just the potential for the base forms. There's also the potential for their other forms.
Yeah.
Because you all got his own potential. So does Super Saiyan Blue and Super Saiyan God and Super Saiyan 1.
You'll just see Buddha TN now. You'll see Buddha TN. Where he has where he just like goes full Buddha and like have like an entire circle thing on his back or whatever. But like I said, I can excuse it because Piccolo was needed a transformation. He needed a power up really, really, really bad.
Yeah.
But I still wish they had it like he already trained for it. How can he train for all these years, not get a power up, and suddenly gets a wish and then gets all the power up?
You know what?
That is what I was going to say, but yeah.
Yeah, but I do agree with you because like in the beginning we saw Piccolo training, and I really found that scene interesting where he was like just sitting and the rock was floating with him and stuff like that. So he was training for years and years, but they could have just used an angle like that where he trained for years and years. Now he achieved a new power, but I also think that unlocking potential thing was great. I just think that Dante should have been able to do that instead of instead of just like Piccolo wishing from the Dragon Ball. The Dragon Ball wish was not good, in my opinion. No matter how
like in defense for it too, Piccolo's entire power up never had him train for it. Like he just like merges with the Namekian and he gets the power up. But
yeah.
I'm not going to hang up too much into it because I'm just happy Piccolo has the power up.
All right, so I think it's time to move on. So where should we move on to? I think because they did capture Pan.
The Polma thing, because I forgot about the Polma thing. I'm just like say this and end this in a single sentence.
Okay.
I'm just shocked there's a thing called Pro Speed. I didn't know what it was before that.
I don't know what that is.
Same.
Yeah. But and so after this day, I think they capture Pan. And Pan agreed to it. Did you guys like how they got Pan?
Yeah.
Like how Pan didn't look like she was in trouble, but she just went along with it.
Yeah, like it was made. I see it as like a callback to the GT thing where people were worried with this one too because she gets captured and you're like, how did she get captured? And they kind of did it in a way where she's captured, like she's being a damsel in distress, but she's pretending to be one instead of. Yeah, like I'm too weak now. And I like that. Like this is a super kid, and they're like not forgetting it.
Yeah.
Like, they're very much acknowledging the fact that she could blow up an entire city if she wants to.
Right. I'm gonna be honest. Even though like I didn't really like, I really liked like how they did it. But I was assuming there was gonna be more resistance. I thought there was gonna be more resistance. I thought we were gonna see Videl or Gohan there trying to get her, and it would have been an interesting scene where we got to see this. I think it was Android 15. Like we got to see his power and stuff like that against someone like Videl, maybe not Gohan, because I think Gohan would trash him. But against Videl, I thought someone would go pick him up and then there would be more resistance. But instead, we saw like the teacher, who we saw earlier too. So yeah, I did like how they executed it. It was fun. It was a fun scene. Yeah, go on.
It was like the whole part where she like, Papa, help me, and then she like trying to eat a cookie. That made me chuckle.
Yeah, that was actually pretty adorable. Yeah. So, what did you think about the capture of Pan Metallic, the kidnapping?
Okay, I didn't get that part.
Hmm?
Like when I had watched the movie, I hadn't got to that part.
You
okay.
what?
I didn't.
Metallic not watched the entire movie.
He
Like,
didn't.
Like this part, because because when I was watching it, I had got called for to do something, and I forgot to resume the movie.
All right, so you kind of skipped that part. Oh yeah, that's fine. We can move on then. But yeah, that scene was adorable. Then I think we did cover like how we thought about like Gohan, like after she was captured. So like the whole thing. Okay, so here's the thing. Piccolo's whole plan was to get her captured, because in a way Piccolo was being the villain too, because he helped them kidnap, because he's just as responsible. So his whole plan was to capture Pan, so that way Gohan gets pissed. And he gets so angry that he unlocks his potential, because that's the only way to draw Gohan's power. But that scene, like how Gohan wasn't able to sense Piccolo's ki, was kind of like, it was kind of weird, because I think even the basic of basic people in the direct Z-verse could do it, like, but Gohan couldn't. What did you think about that?
That part is where like I had like a bit of like it's more like I'm like trying to defend that Gohan didn't really lose his touch, but it's more when he does shit like this, it's like it becomes harder to defend. But
yeah,
I guess if he concentrates, he could, but it's not as, since he's not training, this is not coming as natural to him. But that's the only defense I can lay. But like this is like very hard to defend that part.
Yeah. Are we gonna say Metallic?
Wait. Were y'all saying that Piccolo and Pan were pretending to be dead?
Say what?
Where Gohan couldn't sense their ki?
Well,
Remember I said
Piccolo,
Piccolo knows how to drop his key drastically.
Yeah, I know that.
but Pan was able to sense him
Yeah, that's the
because
thing.
of her human senses.
Yeah, so
Like,
that doesn't work there. Yeah.
like Pan was able, like even though Piccolo hit his key, Pan was still able to tell that Piccolo
Okay.
because she's been training. But Gohan,
All right, so I'm gonna actually destroy that argument in general. You know those, for example, those number 1 and number 2, they can literally do scans to see who's who, if they ever wanted to. So they could have easily, like, if they suspected someone, they could have easily done a scan and found out that's Piccolo.
yeah, but like in defense of that, like Gamma 2 is like way more relaxed. Gamma 1 didn't even know Piccolo was falling in, so.
Yeah, but like what I mean is that they could have easily done it if they detected Piccolo was there or whatever. But like I think they just do it willingly. They don't do it by sensing it. So I can see your point. Like there are some like regular people there, but yeah. But going back to the Gohan scene, here's another reason why I find this kind of dumb. Is okay. So you know how we know Goku is dumb because he didn't do any education, you know.
Yeah.
But Gohan in this case, you know, this guy he's been studying for years and years. So I feel like an educated person would be more cautious and stuff and would question things more than someone that just fights. So like he looked completely dumb in this situation. But I get it, you know. This was their way of luring Gohan to the actual fight. So go on.
Yeah. Okay, so the fight itself, I'll say this right now. I like all the fights with the Gamma. The last fight I liked too, but there's a problem. Like there was like a bigger problem for me that made me really enjoy that fight, but. The Gamma fight with both Gamma 1 and 2, I've said that all of those, like, every fight is, like, better choreographed. But the other thing about it is, like, you actually, like, see, like, Gohan, like, you actually see, like, Gamma 1, like, do some cool stuff, like, when he's, like, taking down Gohan, Super Saiyan Gohan. And it's more of a battle, like, both sides misunderstand each other because they're being manipulated. But, how do I say it? I kind of wish Gohan I kind of wish like the whole not being able to sense Piccolo didn't happen. I get why they did it because then I don't know what to say. I'll just say this. I like the fight. Like it's better choreographed. Gohan. I like the fact that Gohan needed his glasses in the moment he turned Super Saiyan. He doesn't need his glasses, and then he turned like the transformation into ultimate form is like very underrated. Actually, like. That I actually like the way he transformed into it.
Okay.
He turned the ring into a daylight or something, like hope returned or something.
All right.
Maybe I'm looking too much into it.
All right. So I'm gonna get into the setting. So basically, because I don't want to confuse viewers here, I'm gonna tell you the settings really quick. So the thing is, this is when Gohan goes and fights number 1, Gamma number 1. After finding out that you know his daughter got captured, and by the way, that scene where he was actually just powering up against Android 15, that was before that, and how Android 15 was kind of like scared. He's like, please don't do that. I felt like that was a badass moment. That was a really cool moment. But yeah, going on from there, like you know, he saw his daughter, and this was like a scene where there was a lot of rain and stuff. So it meant like rain indicated, in my opinion, like this was gonna get personal. Right, so I really got that big fight feel when he got there, especially when he landed, and then he was like so angry, you know, and then Gamma 1 came in, and I was interested to see how Gamma 1 would fight because we saw Gamma 2 fight, because they do look similar in my opinion, but they don't fight the same. So I was interested to see how Gamma 1 would fight. I felt like that fight was good. And they were exchanging blows in the beginning. Then Piccolo was like, Gamma 1 can read and adjust to the enemy. So in the beginning, Gamma 1 was getting beat up, but then eventually Gamma 1 adapted and he started beating Gohan, and that's when Gohan had to transform again. And I think this was a great way of them showing us like transformations too. Like,
Oh,
yeah.
I just remembered, like, since you brought that up, like, I think that is the part which I was like, I didn't mind it. Not like it's not a big issue for me. It's like I can just like compare it to like an itch, but it's more like, so there's like this, how many times this happened where a guy just like fights, and the more he fights, he just gets stronger or like learns better. I didn't know how I felt about it, but I guess I kind of wish they just had Gamma 1 be this strong already instead of.
Are you referring to like Brawly fight? Like
This happened with Broly,
Yeah.
Hate, Cauliflower.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay.
But still, I feel like it was something other than them just going ta, you know. And then you had so I also like the fact that Pan was actually watching this fight, getting to see her dad finally fight, and then Piccolo was there, you know, doing the commentary and stuff. But yeah, so about that Gohan thing, right? Something I wanted to mention. I got so this movie was about superheroes. I got that vibe of Clark. I think what's Superman's real name?
Clark Kent.
Clark Kent. Yeah. So the thing is that it kind of reminded me of him, because when Clark Kent wears glasses, he's like a normal person, but when he takes them off, he's like Superman. So I got that Superman vibes from him in that fight. It's like in his base form, he's like Clark Kent, but then when he transforms, he becomes into Superman. But yeah, do you got anything to say about that fight between Gamma 1 and Gohan? Metallic.
I just want to say the part where you said that like the Gohan is fighting androids in a rainy day. That's clearly a callback to the history of Trunks fight where Gohan is fighting androids 17 and 18.
That's true. That's really true. Yeah, you got anything to say about that, Metallic? The fight?
I think Metallic saw the deadliest of all and he just died.
I think he did too, yeah. So I guess we can move on to the next segment, which was Piccolo. So Gamma 2 wanted to interfere. And then Piccolo stopped them and saying that no, you cannot interfere. You're gonna fight me. And I'm gonna give my thoughts. Then I'll let you talk, Masturbate. Oh yeah.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
I was gonna say, this movie is called Dragonballsupersuperhero.
Yeah.
And there's no Great Saiyaman.
I was going to get to that later, but yeah.
That's true. I mean, originally when they mentioned the superhero part, I was thinking that this is the perfect movie for Gohan because he was a Great Saiyaman at one point. But yeah, did you have anything to say about the Gamma 1 versus Gohan fight?
Like I said, I haven't been to that part yet.
Oh, okay, that's fine. So I'm gonna get into like Gamma 2 versus Piccolo then, because Gamma 2 wanted to interfere against Gohan because Gohan was actually winning, and they were kind of actually panicking because Gohan went into his ultimate form, which the transformation looked kind of epic to me, honest. And even though like he doesn't change too much, but anyways, I really like this fight because this was the Piccolo moment. I feel like this is when Piccolo did do a transformation and he was able to keep up, but eventually Piccolo got beat, and he was falling on the ground, and then all of a sudden he remembers Shenron giving him that extra bonus power. I'm glad that they brought that up, because otherwise, if they never did bring that up of Shenron adding extra power to him, I would have been like, yo, what was the point of him saying that? But they made that callback, and then you see this it reminded me of like Naruto for some reason, like where Naruto is beat up and then all of a sudden he activates his Fox powers, and then you see a bunch of light coming out of his stomach. and then a kaboom, you see this transformation of Piccolo going from Piccolo yellow, I don't know if they call it yellow, to Piccolo orange. And this transformation, now that I guess this is where I can actually kind of talk about it. I didn't really like the Piccolo yellow transformation that much because I felt like they just took away the stripes and he looked a little yellow. But Piccolo orange, at least he looked different compared to what he normally did. Like he got a complete body transformation. He got more muscular. It's like what do you call it? Super Vegeta, sort of. Like, you know how he got buffed. So he got a bit buff. He got a bit. I don't know if he got a bit taller. Yeah, he did. He became a bit taller. He looked like a freaking Frankenstein, in my opinion. And you got a mix of Lord Slug because of how his face looked. And then his eyes, like the stuff around his eyes, like kind of reminded me of Super Saiyan 4, sort of. I actually like this transformation. I mean, I did have an issue with how Piccolo Yellow was just, even though he's powered up, you just couldn't tell. Like he didn't get any new techniques or anything like that. But with this transformation, at least you saw that he can punch harder. He's a little slower, but he can punch harder and then damage him. That punch was amazing that he did. And which made him win the fight. But the fight wasn't just about the fight. It was trying. They were trying to tell us a story, which I liked the most. It's like he was trying to convince them that they're not a bad guy. And this is where I feel like the character development for number 2 happened. But yeah, that's my thoughts overall. What are you guys' thoughts? How about we start with you, Masturbator?
This was like the best fight I've seen in this entire movie. I've would rate it as the best fight simply because Piccolo got shine. He's, as you said, he's not trying to more win but trying to convince the guy. And I assumed Gamma 2 would just get stronger as he fights you, but no, he was already that strong. The other thing I like that is Piccolo's transformation was, I don't know if I should call it the orange Piccolo form with the wait, I'll start with this one. The special beam cannon thing was really, really nicely animated.
Yeah.
It's a shame it did absolutely nothing. But I don't know if it's a super special beam cannon because it looked different. Piccolo was firing it differently. He's holding his firing arm and then the other arm. So it's I don't know what if it's a super special beam cannon, but it did absolutely nothing. But that's I'm not going to say anything about the choreography because I said this before. It's choreographed nicely, but the transformation is where I was well, if Yellow Piccolo was going to disappoint you, well, here's Orange Piccolo. And I don't know if I should have it be the best transformation in this movie or the other form that we're going to get into. Because I actually think it's one of the best transformation I've seen that is nothing related with Dragon Ball, with Super Saiyan, I mean. But the other thing is, as I said before, the Orange Piccolo, when I first saw it, I was that looked horrible. But then there are other pictures that I've seen is he, I said this before, he looks Piccolo was supposed to be some demon ogre, and this really gave off that vibe that he's some demon ogre. Where he's looking like Akuma with the back, and how big Akuma is from Street Fighters, and this is the same thing. He's buff. You said he's Lord Slug, and that's a way better comparison than what I was comparing him with Akuma with.
Yeah,
but I like the fact I can see the problem with the yellow Piccolo one because he's just a wreath color, except he removed all the scales. This one actually looks like a different transformation instead of just coloring him orange.
Okay, I did want to add to the transformation thing you were saying. I think isn't it amazing how Piccolo just got 2 transformations? Seriously, for one, Piccolo got 2 transformations technically. But
I was just happy with him getting 1 transformation, and they gave him another one. I was oh shit.
Yeah,
I wasn't pretty good.
I wasn't expecting that, but I'm gonna say this much though. I think it is the best transformation in this movie because I didn't like the other one. and I'll explain why. But like, I did think that this was the best transformation because this is the most different one. I feel, and I also feel like I mean, okay, if you look at this transformation, it doesn't look the same as like the previous transformations that Piccolo ever had. So that's the thing I liked about it. It gave a different thing. Yeah, but what did you want to say, Metallic?
I was gonna say this: if the next scene we're talking about is that fight, I can talk a bit about that fight because I was spoiled by it. And
What mentality? You should have really seen the Piccolo versus Gamma 2 fight. That is easily the best fight.
I wasn't spoiled by that one.
That was a great fight.
I wasn't spoiled by that one.
All right, so I mean, before we get into the next part, I just wanted to complete my thoughts about this whole thing. So like, I do agree. Like, I felt like this transformation was the best one. And I also thought that overall he looked the most completely different than he's ever had. So I really like this big Orgar form. But anyways, I think we're ready to go for the next one, which was by the way, you told me about this, that I wouldn't like this form of Cell Max.
Oh boy.
Oh no. Oh man. I wish they picked the worst aspect to spoil me on this one. And then I looked up the shit and I'm like, fuck.
Okay, so I don't really need to get into like how they brought him out because this was just, I mean, they needed to bring Cell Max out because they needed a true villain. But this wasn't the Cell that I was expecting, you know. So in the beginning, they did show us like, you know, Cell, like how he was, like they showed his forms and stuff like that. And I had a fear, like you know, the second form that Cell gets, the one that fought Vegeta in the past. Like I was feeling like I had a feeling that this new form, this Cell Max, would look kind of like him, but I wasn't expecting him to look like him exactly. I'm sorry, this was a lazy Cell. Like he just had like a couple of red stuff on it on his armor, but that's about it. Like I just felt like overall look wise, him and this form and the second form of Cell just wasn't like any different. I wished we saw like a perfect Cell, but we never did.
I would go on a long rant.
And then the Spike Tail. Why the Spike
I think maybe this should be like a thing where I say this after the movie is done.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think I've shown you like a concept of transformation where like someone like basically drew like a fan art based on what he gathered from the Cell. And the thing, like the two things he said is like it's not it's kaiju and it's noseless one. And I'll say this, I'm not like, it's like a long tangent, but Geekdom like kind of gave me some kind of hope where he said, I don't know why he posted the semi-perfect Cell look because it's not that similar, it's kind of similar. So I'm like, are they going to remove the noseless one and just have his face be green? But every Milli Vanilli keeps saying that, like, you know, this is a noseless transformation and this is a noseless look. And since this is Toriyama's favorite look, he's going to keep it. And I'm like, I was just like secretly wishing.
Wait. Of all the Cell forms, that's his favorite.
That's why it is. That's what it is. And
wait, whose favorite is that?
Toriyama is
the author of Dragon Ball.
You're kidding me. You're kidding me. No way.
Oh my God.
Sorry.
I mean, the first. I can see someone saying the first form, but this.
Nah.
But I like I said, I've been telling I want you to start first because I can go on like an entire 20-minute rant of why I didn't like this, and I got into multiple debates over this.
Where do we go into this? He barely done anything. He shot a few blasts. He got Piccolo into he got Piccolo into a hole where it looked like he was gonna do a wrestling suplex, and that pissed Gohan off enough to transform. By the way, I will get into that shit.
Yeah. Well, that Gohan thing, like how you're just standing around. We'll get into that after we give our thoughts about
I
Max.
get to that shit.
Yeah,
but it's just what did you say? Okay. Him being the second semi-perfect cell, fine.
But like I was going to say like the thing you mentioned is like I don't know if I showed you like a proper look. I can't remember it, but I showed you like a concept art of someone drawing it from another person's perspective who actually knew what it's going to look like.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I wish this is not true. I wish this is not real. And there are three things I hope for. At the very least, I just didn't want him to have like a semi-perfect cell face. But that's not even the big problem. The bigger issue is that he's fucking kaiju. And I just kind of wish he started off regular size and he, like, because like the initial rumor was that he absorbs the energy from the Earth's core. And by doing that, he just, I could see him like the more, like he's getting more powerful and by extension getting more bigger.
My issue was he did jack shit.
No, I'll get to that. I'll get to the main, what I saw versus what I'm hoping, what I hoped for.
Okay.
What I was like telling not to. And what I was secretly hoping.
Yeah.
That first thing, which was like a minor thing, is like he got the perfect cell look because that's the more iconic cell. And I don't know why you would not only go with the worst looking form, but also the part where it was like the worst face of his entire character. Where he's getting beaten up by Tien, then Vegeta, then Trunks, and then he manipulates Vegeta, then he gets beaten by Trunks again, then he like this whole mindfuck with this guy. So not before I get to like I was like, that's not only the worst face but also the worst look, and I don't know why you would possibly like that. Go with the first form for God's sake instead of this. But the other thing, if I don't get that, I would accept that look.
Oh yeah, also,
okay.
It being Toriyama's favorite doesn't make it any better.
The editor did nothing wrong with suggesting perfect cells. There was like a popular complaint of Toriyama, like, oh, I wanted these characters, then they changed it to this, and then I created Cell and they wanted him to have transformation. And then I created semi-perfect Cell, but then they told me that no, he needs more transformation. Then the perfect Cell happened. The editor did nothing wrong. Toriyama needs more people like this. Because this is just an inmate running an entire asylum. Not to get into, like I said, I'm getting into a tangent here, but that was like what I hoped for the most, but if I didn't get it, I wouldn't mind.
Okay.
Second thing I kind of hoped for is he would start off as regular size, and that was like the least I asked. He starts off as regular size, then eventually get bigger or something instead of, like fucking be a kaiju from the start, because there's like a major issue with that, which I'll get. Hold up. Motherfucker. Well, I docked myself. Anyway.
Okay.
Hold up in a second.
No worries. If you guys missed out on how he looks, you got Sai right there. But anyways. Hey, so Metallic, what is a kaiju?
You know what? Godzilla, King Kong, okay. King Ghidorah.
So like big characters. Okay.
Big monsters, yes.
Alright, that makes sense.
Oh, anyways.
Yeah.
So I'm going on a tangent, but I'll just say this: like the worst thing, like the most I hope for that he starts off as regular size, because it just creates the problem with a giant like a Godzilla. Mm-hmm. But then people keep saying he's like the biggest version of Cell, and I was like, is he Broly big or like Hero the Gun big? But they keep saying he's big, and like I just lose hope. And then they saying he's Godzilla, and then I just, and then they said he's not going to talk. He has no brain, and I'm like, oh god, I knew I'm not going to like this guy.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I mean, I saw a bit of Kid Buu here. Like, how Kid Buu was just going bananas and stuff like that in Janemba. Like how they were powerful, but they were going bananas. But I did want to talk about something else though. Like we'll get back into this fight, but I feel like talking about Goten and Trunks makes sense here too, because we got to see Goten and Trunks, but they were like a more taller, right? So I want to know what your guys' thoughts is about Goten and Trunks. How do you think they were utilized in this movie?
You know, since you, you know what? I'll segue into Goten right now before I get to the main problems I have with Cell Max. I didn't even start with Cell Max.
Yeah.
But I'll get to him in a second. Like, I'll get to him by the time I'm like done with the movie. Then we'll just like talk about my major problem, because that's the only major problem I had. Everything else I was just forgiving. So Goten and like I felt like they knew that we wanted back an adult Goten, and we want like he has like adult Goten is not besides the Dragon Ball heroes, and you know Dragon Ball heroes mean as much as any fan fiction in the story. Besides Dragon Ball heroes, people like the Toei and Toriyama knew that people wanted Gotens back, and I kind of wish they just like had like a perfect fusion instead of like a fat one. They kind of explain it, but I still wish they didn't go with that, because now you just like what is Goten? Like, why are people so threatened of normal Goten?
I'm gonna have to head off for a bit.
Okay, just say your thoughts about Goten.
When they said that it was only gonna be fat Goten, wait, was it just fat Gotenks?
Yeah, it was just fat.
Okay. Funny thing is, I ain't really minded.
Okay. I mean,
I did see the fight. I did see the fight with fat Gotenks. I ain't really minded. I got why they did it. That's what my pick.
Okay, I'll let you finish.
I was gonna say I kind of understand why they did it, because like remember with the original Gotenks, Trunks had to always lower his power to Goten's.
Mm-hmm.
So like just hear me out. What if like somewhere down the line Goten and Trunks had got equal power, but because Trunks had to always lower his power, he forgot that they were equal. He forgot that they were equal in strength, and that's what.
That's not what happened. Basically, Goten messed up the fusion where he touched the finger at the wrong point.
Well, fuck.
It's not the tip of the finger, but the other part, the side of the finger.
Okay.
He was rusty, but like they explained why they forgot, because they haven't done it for long, and Goten kind of got rusty. But so
okay,
I'll say like I was just going to finish my thoughts, and I'll just say this like I don't know why they had to mess up the fusion.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I didn't mind it because I had like time to prepare for it, because they already like said that Pat Goten is going to be in the movie. But I just didn't like how why people are so threatened by normal Goten. Like, what could he possibly do to Cell Max? Because he was already stronger than Yellow Piccolo, Orange Piccolo, Ultimate Gohan, everyone else. I don't think it would have killed them if they had like a normal Goten in, besides the fact they did it for comedy effect.
Yeah.
It's like they knew what people wanted, and they just like, you know what, we'll just give you a fucked up version. And you already saw that happen in the Broly movie.
Right.
So
at
least he contributed, which is more you can ask for.
Well, so I do have. I'm gonna get into my thoughts about what I thought about that moment. So like the thing is that Goten and Trunks, I mean, they look. I'm glad they actually grew up now instead of just looking like little kids. I always had an issue with how they treated Goten in general, because I felt like he is Goku's kid, but he is one of those neglected kids for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So now Gohan has a daughter. And Goten is his brother. So like I don't understand, why is Piccolo like more closer? Like, why is Piccolo the only option to grab the daughter instead of Goten as well? They never mentioned him in the beginning. It's just weird, like, because like it just feels like he's detached from his brother in general. So what I would have liked is if they included Goten in the story of telling us about Gohan, because Goten does know about his brother a little bit more.
I mean, it will also give Goten character,
exactly,
which is something Goten desperately needs.
Exactly, and in this story, it would have fit because Goten is the brother of Gohan, and to be fair, even more, he knows more about Goten knows more about Gohan than even Goku does. I feel. So I mean that's the thing. I feel like they could have utilized this character more instead of making him look like a freaking side character, and making him feel like he's more on Krillin level at this point of relevancy.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. I feel like they could have done more with him, and in the future, yeah, no worries. I hope in the.
I ain't gonna head out. I'll talk to y'all guys later.
All right, man. But in the future, I hope they focus on Goten and Trunks. I mean, the thing with Trunks is that we've already seen like future Trunks already, so it's like we know how great Trunks can be, but we just don't know anything about Goten. So this movie could have been that moment where they showcase that. But moving along, I feel like since we gave our thoughts about that. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention about the fat Goten thing. I mean, I thought it was funny at first, but I wish they actually showed us the real transformation. Even if the real transformation wasn't gonna do much, but like I will hope they gave him like a relevant moment. Instead, they just use a fat fusion to showcase like how a fat fusion can do something. But I felt like he stayed there for a longer time than he was supposed to. Like he should have like easily separated a lot sooner. So I guess yeah, they just made him look like a goofy secondary useless character by making him fat. That's the way they were just gonna move them back.
And for the record, like they actually showed Goten and Trunks perfect the fusion by the end of the movie, but they never showed Goten, and it would have been pointless because, like, at the very least, you could have shown like what adult Goten would look like.
Exactly.
And it just feel like a slap in the face. Goten and Trunks didn't even go Super Saiyan, which is okay, whatever. But at least, like I said, I don't know. Like I get that they were doing it for the purpose of comedy, and he still contributed. So that's more than you can expect from Goten at this point. But it's still like, what would it like? What would it kill them if they had like Goten, like as a normal Goten going Super Saiyan 3? Like what would he possibly do when other stronger people than him are just getting destroyed left and right?
All right, and you know this is just like this is like irrelevant to Goten in general, but like have you wondered why the heck are they giving Goku's sons the look of Yamcha? Because this Goten looks like Yamcha to me. Like I don't know, like one of his hairs. I was interested in seeing him go Super Saiyan actually with that hair, and I wanted to see like you said, like, you know, they never went Super Saiyan and stuff like that. I wish they did. Like I wish they had more. I wish they did a little bit more than just being there as like side characters. I mean, I think that's one of the issues that I didn't like about this movie is the way they treated Goten and Trunks. They've treated him like trash for a while, but still in Super, like I feel like in Super these two are so bad. Like these two are so bad. Like in Z, at least they got a moment where they got to fight each other and stuff like that. But in Super, they just like, anyways, I think it's a good time.
Which is why like a fat Goten striking self like head kind of is like more like they contributed more in that more than you expected from them.
Exactly, which is sad, but it's true. The fat version of Gotenks did more than what these two did combined in this whole franchise. I mean, when it comes to Super. But yeah, I think moving on. I think it's time to move on to the next part, and I feel like this is where like the whole fight of Cell Max and the other Z fighters happen. By the way, they didn't need Yamcha for some reason. They didn't need Tien for some reason. But they and thankfully they never brought the old man Roshi, sorry, not Yoshi. But they got Krillin here. And I'm fine with how they treated Krillin, and they got 18 as well. And I'm fine with how they treated 18 because 18 wasn't gonna do much in this fight, anyways. But hey, is it me or like, yo, when it comes to Cell Max, right? I think we're gonna get into like the Cell Max thing. I was thinking that
I'll get to that after this movie. Like, there's like a lot of things I want to say,
yeah,
and if I can start right now, like we would
I know.
never like end each game.
I understand, but like I was thinking that I thought that Cell Max would absorb 1 and 2 for some reason and become perfect. I don't know. I thought that he would do that, but yeah. So Cell Max was this big, like you said, kaiju character, who was a big maniac, and he was just going bananas. A lot. He beat basically everyone. He destroyed everyone at this point. They used like, they what I found interesting was the fact that they used like his polka dots as a way to throw missiles to everything else. So I found that interesting. I mean, then we also had that moment where oh yeah, this was a big moment actually, where Pan actually learned how to fly. When one of those missiles actually almost killed her. Krillin was there, but he was holding on to Bulma, but Pan had to like actually run, and like the ground was about to break, and then Krillin told her to fly, Pan fly, and Pan did fly. So I'm glad that that in the end, when they showcased like how she was flying and stuff, we didn't get this coming out randomly. We actually saw a moment where she actually learned to do it, and the way she learned is similar to how Gohan learned how to fight as well, being in those tough situations. So it was like, I think it was like a callback to that. But yeah, going back to the fight, like you said, the fight was choreographed very well. We got like everyone was getting beat up. Piccolo tried his best in this fight. I like how much he put into this fight. So okay, here's the thing. I actually didn't really like. I just didn't like how they told his weakness, I guess, in the beginning. The only way to beat him is to break his head apart. I don't know. I usually like strategies in Dragon Ball, but telling us that early on, without us basically trying to discover his weakness by testing it out and being it a surprise, was not great storytelling in my opinion. I just didn't like the fact that they told us right away that you just gotta crack his head.
There is a problem with that too, but yeah, continue.
Yeah. I think one other major moment that happened was when Two had to sacrifice himself to do that. So what are your thoughts about doing Two sacrificing himself?
I like that. Like it went into a little bit of CGI territory for me. Like you could tell it was obviously CGI instead of like 2D and a mix of 3D. But I liked it. Like I didn't have like people were assuming this is where this was like Android 21's move where she like shoots something from her hand, like her level 3 move or something. But I really like that one. Like I like how it went from blue to orange, and it like apparently contributed by like reducing self power. More on that later. But I think I liked it. I didn't expect Gamma 2 to die right there. But I liked it as like a move. It like if they're ever going to win Fighter V, that could be like a great Ultimate 3.
Yeah. But do you feel like at this point we cared about Two enough for his death to matter?
Wait, what?
Do you feel like at this point we cared about Two so much that his death mattered? Do you feel like him dying in this situation was a fantastic moment?
I kind of wanted like him and Great Spearman to go together because they like at least do some kind of photo. But I'm bummed that he died. I think he should have like remained alive and Gamma 1 should have died because Gamma 2 is like way more interesting. But at least it opens rooms for development for Gamma 1. But dude, like I'm kind of bummed that he died.
Then that's good storytelling. I feel like if you're bummed about it, because Gamma 2 did get more development in this whole show, in this whole movie than Gamma 1 did. Do I feel like, if I was to ask myself, do I feel like this sacrifice was good? didn't do any impact. I feel like it did to an
It did.
extent. I feel like it did to an extent. I would have liked to see obviously this character more, but I was never thinking about this character dying eventually because I was just getting to know this character more, right? So, but it made sense why 2 would sacrifice himself for this moment. But it also reminded me of what's his name, that Android 16. You know, like how Android 16 kind of sacrificed himself against Cell. So yeah, this is. I guess we also got to talk about like how Piccolo had a plan to have Gohan kind of like charge up his Kamehameha or something, which he wasn't doing the whole time. He's just watching. He's like, hey, you should just sit still and charge up your Kamehameha and junk. But he wasn't doing anything. He was just watching. Like, I was like, what? Where's the charging up part? I was like, okay, they're going to have that same silly ending where they just do a Kamehameha ending. But I was like, where's this charging up part? He wasn't doing any of that. He was just watching. So,
this is the part where I needed the sub because I don't know what exactly Gohan was trying to do, and Piccolo was like what exactly Piccolo was telling him and what Gohan was actually doing. I thought they just wanted Gohan to get a power up, but so there was like a scene where Gohan was actually like planning on joining them or like planning on firing. Then Piccolo told him to stop. I'll hold them off for you to use your power. So there was like it, but it needed like an English translation, which is okay. I'm not hung up too much on that, but yeah.
I mean, it's true. Maybe the translation was kind of off, but still, like, like Gohan. If Gohan was to charge his Kamehameha, he wasn't doing that. But that's totally fine. I mean, he was just watching him. So, like, okay, so here's the thing. At this point, they brought back Cell, and then we got the androids and Gamma and thing. So I was like, okay, this is just a Cell saga all of a sudden. They're just trying to revisit us with Cell saga, but with different looking characters. I mean, Gamma 1 and 2 were kind of different compared to like the androids, but the regular androids. But still, it was like a similar concept because they were trying to make us relive. At least that's what I thought, the Cell saga. And then we got Cell Max as like literally the carbon copy of the second form of Cell. And in this moment we see, you know, Piccolo fighting tooth and nail. Oh yeah, by the way, I really liked how he became the larger as well. He was reminded to go big, but what didn't make sense to me is like, how didn't he get more powerful when he got big?
He apparently, so this was like explained that he never, even with his fight against Goku, it's merely like a bluff. It doesn't increase his power, but more like basically make him like giant size so he can fight against like basically, I don't know how to say it, but it's basically like a buff. Like it's basically like a bluff. Like basically he's just ensuring that he doesn't get crushed to death, but also at the same time he's not going to do anything like being giant. He's just going to have like a giant fight.
Okay, but can we not use logic for a second? Because even if you get larger, because if you become larger, right, than you are technically going to become more heavier and more powerful, more stronger than you were like smaller. I felt like this could have been what they could have done is they could have stacked Orange Piccolo with this large form of his and made him a little bit stronger. Like this is the peak Orange Piccolo sort of thing. Because he was already buff, man. Like if I was to like use logic for a second and I saw like a big buff alien looking orange dude, I'd be shaking my pants. So that thing is like, I didn't really like that explanation. I feel like that goes against the logic, but then again, this is Dragon Ball. A lot of things are against logic, so whatever. It's like whatever. But I did like how Piccolo was used as a catalyst or something to amp up Gohan, because Piccolo was actually more closer to Gohan than 16 was. And then we got that moment that you know, that amazing moment where you see like a light of red go behind Gohan and stuff, and then him going, you know, all of a sudden.
Before you get to that, I'll just say this. I just like that Piccolo like remembered that he could go giant. I don't know why he just like he used this in a Goku fight, and I'm like, okay, where is that technique when you could use it on multiple different instances? But then
Yeah.
he remembered even there he's like, oh yeah, I could do that. But the other part I here's the thing, like as much as like people would be like bummed out that Piccolo got his ass handed to him, he was doing much better against Cell than most of the people prior to go on like transforming into the new transformation that he got. But yeah, he was actually like going even toe to toe with Cell or like holding well against Cell. But yeah,
I agree. No, I agree. They made him look very good in this movie. Like I really loved like this movie was a Piccolo movie.
And they showed blood. When was the last time you saw blood in Dragon Ball? Modern
blood,
Dragon Ball.
Yeah, blood and someone's hand got cut off and everything else. I really like. Okay, so I really love. I love the flashy stuff, right? But I really love it when they punch each other. You know, like punch each other to death. Those like it kind of reminds me of the final fight of Naruto versus Sasuke too, where they used up their powers, but then they had a moment where they just beat each other up with their regular fists. So Piccolo had that moment in this movie. I mean, Piccolo looked very good, honestly. He looked very, very good in this movie, and I'm really glad that this character got this much love. And I think this is why this movie is easily my favorite Dragon Ball Super movie. Like, I like this more than any of the previous Dragon Ball Super movies, and I can't believe I'm saying this because I don't like Super at all. I really don't. But I really love this one a lot. But I'm gonna be honest, there are some things that I really didn't like, and that's gonna be happening like pretty soon.
But yeah, like
yeah,
it is like they have like Piccolo did absolutely nothing in the Broly movie, and he was like didn't have like a strong showing like throughout Super and like Majin Buu saga, and Tomirion was like, okay, let me make that up for you by giving you more Piccolo, giving you true transformations, and having him put a better fight. So even when he's losing absolutely nothing, and even then he kind of got back up and held defeating Gohan. But yeah.
All right, so I guess we can get into the transformation part of Gohan.
Yeah.
So yeah, Gohan, similarly to how you went Super Saiyan 2, saw that moment where Piccolo got beat. He was gonna get killed. Piccolo was gonna get killed, and then Gohan basically had the moment where he felt like he got to get it serious. And I really loved how there was like a commentary on Piccolo or something. Like you view this moment and see this moment and unlock your potential eventually. Like, I'm not saying it right, but like Piccolo was doing commentary about how he believes that he is the strongest fighter if he wants to be.
And it's a Goku speech. It's the Goku speech from the Cell Saga when Goku died and he gave the same speech to Gohan. You're the strongest being in the universe if you train, and you should let it all out. That was basically what Goku told him.
So
yeah. Go ahead.
So you're saying that they replaced Goku with Piccolo?
Yeah, like they basically did the Goku speech with Piccolo.
Yeah. Yeah, but like to say it this late when we know Goku and Vegeta are like very strong, like very, very powerful. But anyways, I'm moving on. So Gohan, charges up like crazy, and then you get that same moment of like you literally look at Super Saiyan 2 Gohan transformation and look at this one. I don't think there is much difference, and the result of it isn't that much different either, because we got like this white-haired Super Saiyan 2 looking Gohan, but this time he's an adult. Like he is like his hair is extremely spiky. I would have loved this transformation more if we never saw it before, but we already seen it when it looked like when we saw Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. So it's like I don't know, they're using their Crayola colors now. Now he has like silver hair or something, and then his eyes are kind of like Super Saiyan 3. Because you see the pupil, and then you got I think red eyes. Which I love the color of like red eye, I think it was red or orange eyes, and then the silver hair. I like the color combination. I just didn't like the fact that we already seen this form. Like this is, oh my god, like This is why I don't like Super. Anyways, what did you think about that?
So this is like a bit of a long comment on basically a long reaction. So I kind of had more time to prepare in the sense that there's this Indian YouTuber that's basically giving you new stuff, and it's basically he's called Dragon Ball Chronicle, and he was like talking about something big is going to happen that's on the level of Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield coming back as Spider-Man. And for a long time I didn't know what it's going to be. Then he kind of gave a hint that it's going to be a canonization of a fan project. So I'm like, so it's going to be Zycor since it's Toyotaro's character that he's like mostly popular for, and he's like very popular in the fan base. Is it going to be the Kakume thing? And then I just like thought about it. I kind of like saw like an image of this fan-made transformation called Gohan Blanco. And then I just like came into this realization, oh, they're going with the Gohan Blanco. Because that's like the most likeliest one, because there's always like hints of Gohan getting a new power-up. At first it's going to be like Geekdom told me that it's going to be ultimate form, but basically Gohan like using his rage to reach the highest potential of his ultimate power. But then like, oh shit, he's going to go Gohan Blanco. Because this entire form that you're referring to is actually part of a meme that started because like when Gohan was like coming back in Tournament of Power, people speculated and made theory that Gohan's going to get a new power-up. And that new power-up is going to be called Gohan Blanco, which is basically white hair and red eyes. And some other guy used it in the series as a meme. But it's like this whole meme, it's like You Are Shaggy all over again. They basically made a meme canonized in their own weird way. But Gohan Blanco is like, because I kind of like realized that they're probably referring to Gohan Blanco, I had like more time to prepare because red eyes, white hair, and Gohan's getting a new power up anyway. Because even in the trailer 3, they kind of showed that Gohan's like powering up in the final part of the trailer, and you know that he's just going Gohan, like he's getting a new transformation. And it's going to be Gohan Blanco. The one you're referring to is basically a meme that became canonized.
Okay, but do you think that it's a great... Oh, hold on. Do you hear me?
I'm hearing you. I heard you.
Oh, okay.
You were like it's basically a recolored Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, right?
Yeah. So it is a recolored Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. But I just feel like... Oh, hold on. I'm not looking at the right screen. There you go. That's better. Anyways, so do you think that's a good thing though? Like, do you think that's a good thing that they did that? Like, they just gave us like a meme, and made it canonized. I mean, do you think it's creative? Do you think that's something they should have done?
I mean, like, I can just like answer the question with yes, but like there's like I think it's a bit more complicated because there's like issues with this new transformation because it came literally out of nowhere. The only thing you kind of got is that Gohan was like kind in Super in both manga and the anime. He hinted that he's actually going with his own way of power. He's basically trying to get the next level of the ultimate potential that he had, the mystic form. So you always felt like that like a new transformation for Gohan was kind of inevitable. But this happened at a time where Gohan didn't even train for a long time.
That's true.
So, I mean, it's always hinted that Gohan can just get a power-up if he gets angry. If he really lets all his anger out. So he gets a new like power-up like a Super Saiyan 2 or something. But I see where it like came out of left field because if they kind of said that Gohan was always training but he's not interested in fighting. Okay, but if Gohan... Or if even in the end, if they said that Gohan actually knew that it's Piccolo and he's just playing bluff or something, or maybe Gohan was actually secretly training because he was actually secretly learning the special beam cannon, I would have be like, okay, it's more forgiving. But this came out of left field. The transformation, the way it looked, I didn't have a problem because they were obviously calling back to the Super Saiyan 2 Gohan with androids dying, everyone fighting Cell, Cell being the one to for who is facing Gohan, and if the entire transformation was done in the same way as Super Saiyan 2 Gohan was. So if you're going to go with this, then it's obviously that it would make more sense if this is like a if you get your Super Saiyan 2 hairstyle back, the one from Cell Saga. And this is like the other thing, what do I say? Oh my god. I actually kind of wanted like I felt like Gohan was getting a new transformation and I wanted Gohan to get a new transformation for a long while. I don't think mystic form should like be its like ultimate level of power. So on that sense, I'm just happy that Gohan got a new transformation, but I see the point of it coming out of left field. He didn't train and then suddenly he got angry and got a new transformation, which is something hinted at, but there have been various instances where Gohan got angry and never got a power up. And this is like he just got a power up. The main thing is one where like I kind of like prepared for, but I like that Gohan got a new transformation. And there are like places where it looked ugly, but there are other places where it looked actually really good. And we got badass Gohan back. So I'm happy with it all together, with him getting a new transformation, and I liked it. But I also wanted to see more of that form instead of just like kicking Cell and then like using a special beam cannon. Other than that, I see where you're coming from because it's just unoriginal, and then coming out of left field just does not help it, man. Does not help matters.
Okay, so like so I do get your point about like how Gohan looking like Super Saiyan 2 here with this transformation makes more sense because this is a fight bit of Cell, and this kind of brings back the whole Gohan versus Cell fight where he needed to be told once again, which I think is a character regression again. Like he needs to be told once again that he has the potential to become better and stronger.
Yeah.
And then he whatever Goku said in the past, like he needed to be reminded of that again. But here's the thing, I wish they tried to not make it look like that part, because to me that's lazy. This is like similar to like how Goku went Super Saiyan Blue against Frieza. It's like we've seen Goku transform against Frieza already. Like when he originally went to Super Saiyan. We don't need to see that part again. And I feel like this is why I think this movie doesn't do that well for me in general, is because while I love the Piccolo element of things, I just didn't like how they just reminded us of the past. They did a callback again, which is something they've done so many times in the show already. And I wanted to see something new, not something. So it's like I'm seeing something. I'm supposed to see something new, but I'm seeing the same thing over and over again. It's like seeing the previous scene, but like with different colors, sort of thing. Because you got Cell, who's in his secondary form, who looks like he's in secondary form, with like some red armor, and then you got Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. I mean, no, he's not Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. They call him the Final Gohan.
Final Gohan.
Yeah, You got Final Gohan, who looks like Super Saiyan 2, and you see that same cocky demeanor that he had, where he just does a punch and stuff. He's not taking them seriously. I'm glad they didn't touch on that part as well, because whenever Gohan gets a new transformation, he becomes less serious and plays with his food, kind of like Vegeta would. And
I'm glad they didn't go with that, where he just kicked, he's just smirked and he's like being smug about it, but he didn't like waste time. He just finished it right and quick.
Yeah, I'm glad they did that. It's kind of also like Gogeta, right? Like, how Gogeta just comes out and he just does a few moves, and then all of a sudden he goes with his finisher.
Yeah.
But I'm happy with the fact that he used a special beam cannon.
Yeah.
I wasn't able to tell from the way I was like watching, like how different this looks. But I would have liked the special beam cannon look kind of different compared to the original. I'm pretty sure it probably does. But I'm glad he finished off with that instead of just a Kamehameha, because this was a great way of appreciating what Piccolo did in this movie, like using his move to finish him off.
like since he's fighting Cell and he looks like Super Saiyan 2, you would like think he's just going to fire Kamehameha and like Cell's going to die the same way the old Cell died, but they actually kind of changed it to a special beam cannon because like beside like I always wanted Gohan to use a special beam cannon because like if he's training under Piccolo and not using any of the moves and using Goku's move, despite when Piccolo is the one who's training him more than Goku did, I think it's a bit strange. And at the like I like the fact that Piccolo is getting kind of credit because his move is the one that finished off Cell instead of Goku move in a movie that has nothing to do with Goku.
Yeah, but I also feel like they did try to do that power struggle thing. You know, like how especially oh yeah. What about the spear bomb? Is that even... Yo, that big spear bomb sort of thing that Cell made. That was large. That was huge. I was like, holy smokes, man! I haven't seen anything this big.
And
ever.
that was like a really good animated part too, where it looked like Revenge Death Ball, but it's black, and then it like you can see some rainbow colors in it, where it's like green or something. That is like literally something I would have. I like that was so good. And then I just like, well, they wasted on this motherfucker. Like, why is they using this version of Cell and have him like the things like okay I'll get to that. I'm really controlling myself.
Okay,
with this.
I know, but keep in mind this is the most powerful version of Cell we're ever gonna see. Keep in mind that, all right?
Oh.
I mean, I know that. Ooh. I know that. I don't mean to fuel the fire here, but this is the most strongest version of Cell we're ever gonna see. In fact, even Gohan after the fight was over, Gohan said even Goku, my father and Vegeta would have struggle against this guy. So yeah, and we're talking about people that can use Ultra Instinct and whatever the form that Vegeta has. Forgot the name of it. But yeah, this version of Gohan does the special beam cannon to finish the fight. But I also like the fact that he used the special beam cannon to win the fight, simply because I feel like that move, special beam cannon, actually has the piercing effect. Like because you're fully concentrating your energy on your head, and then shooting it out, and that fully concentrated energy is gonna connect with something and pierce through it. So I think it makes sense that this is the move that was used, and it showed the bond between Piccolo and Gohan. I feel like they should be together all the time because they work off each other very well. Like Gohan doesn't really have Gohan really doesn't have a rival or anything, but he does have a great mentor. So I really like that. But hey, voices, what's up? Welcome to the podcast.
Welcome to the stream that is ending soon. But
yeah,
like I also like that like you would assume like Piccolo is getting his ass handed, but he gets back up and like basically paints the target for Gohan to shoot at. But yeah, like that entire part where like Cell's like firing some kind of revenge death ball and Gohan special beam cannon, and even that it wasn't much of a struggle.
Right.
So even that wasn't much of a struggle. It didn't have like Gohan just like the ball pushing back the special beam cannon and Gohan powers up some more and then it pierces it. It was just a little bit of a struggle and it pierced Cell's head and it just like flew all the way out of the earth. It was nice, but I actually like that Piccolo helped with that too instead of just like staying down.
Yeah, but going forward, we're gonna see how much these transformations in this movie will look good in moving forward, because like when Goku and Vegeta come back, they usually take all the shine away. But we'll see what happens in the future. But for now, I mean, I really liked I like Piccolo's transformation. I felt like Gohan, like I agree with you. I feel like Gohan needed a transformation, but I just didn't want a recolor skin of freaking Super Saiyan 2, bro. And then on top of that, I didn't see. Okay, so like Gohan looks the same, almost, right? He's like a recolor skin. But what about his demeanor? How he acts while he's in this transformation? That should be different too. Like how he fights should be different too. Like for example, Ultra Instinct Goku. I'm not a big fan of it. But at least he has a new technique in it. You know, he can do new techniques. So it's like that. If you're gonna make them look the same, at least freaking change up their technique so that way they're kind of different. instead of like a recolor skin. I mean, I could literally just go on. Like I was just thinking the whole time, I could go on Photoshop right now and take Super Saiyan 2 Gohan and then just recolor him with silver hair and then put red eyes on it, and easy. Like I'm sick of these lazy transformations. I know I'm going a bit of a tangent here, but I'm getting sick of these lazy transformations. And I think now is the time. So in the end, I'm going to get into the end, and then we're going to give our final our thoughts about the overall movie after that. And then we're going to probably end the stream after. But yeah, in the end, we saw like how Pan was able to fly and stuff, and I think that was a great way to end it. I think the end with that was nice.
That's when you find out that Piccolo, like Cell's arm getting back, is basically cutting Cell's power in half, which I don't know how that worked. And again, like I have to go on an entire tangent to explain why that's not working and why the weakness sucks too. But so how do I say it? I'll just say this: like I was more forgiving because I had more time to prepare, and plus they always said badass Gohan is coming back. And you know, when you think of badass Gohan, you just think of Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. So I guess I know what they're doing. But I'm kind of worried that I just hope that this is like there's a reason I can forgive Gohan being weakened, because if this is like more explode, where he gets his powers back, he becomes badass Gohan again, unlike in the Tournament of Powers. And it's basically making up for all the expectation Gohan, and when he was like getting to Tournament of Power, is going to become badass and everything. When in both versions he just like looked really, really weak. I hope this is the final time Gohan learns this lesson. You can't depend on Goku and Vegeta, and you need to train too in order to keep these powers. Otherwise, what's the point? Huh?
I agree. Like they need to stop repeating the same story of Gohan. Like it's not gonna work every time, right? That's the thing. That is my biggest issue. I mean, you know, I came in this thing with an open mind. I actually was like liking a lot of things about this movie, but I cannot ignore the part where they just keep reusing the transformation, and they just keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting people to care. Eventually, the fandom is gonna get bored of it, and they're gonna realize, you know what, enough is enough. Stop showing us the same story that we already seen. If you watch Z, and then you watch the last part of this movie, right, where he transforms into this new form, I don't think there is that much of a difference, because the concept is the same. It's just that the characters are kind of different. Like Piccolo wasn't sacrificing himself in the original Z episodes. It was someone else, but still, like the concept is the same, but it's just the way they have them set up is different.
And so, lastly, if since this is like a main part of the like story, is like you can't just like slack off and expect others to do things for you, because you saw what happened if you like lack training and shit. Yeah. I kind of wish like this time is like the final time Gohan has to learn this lesson, because he keeps learning these same lessons over and over. If this is their way of bringing Gohan back, they should keep with it. And same goes for Piccolo. Piccolo got this transformation, and I don't know if it's going to be like a limited thing where he's just going to forget this transformation, like how he forgot to turn into a giant for a long time. These are the things you should keep at. And I kind of wish like Dragon Ball goes with like the multi-villain things, where you keep giving other people who to fight for, and you could by doing that you just giving them like W. I am not expecting Gohan nor Piccolo to surpass Goku and Vegeta, but you also can't just like keep doing this thing where Gohan gets weaker, or this guy's just too powerful and Gohan doesn't get a win. Like if you're going with badass Gohan again, then just keep constantly rehashing like a weak Gohan or a villain too strong for Gohan. It just doesn't work. And same goes for Piccolo. I don't want to see Piccolo take another L when he reached his potential. Even though he took his L with Cell, he was already tired. And the other thing is, he still put up a good fight. He didn't lose anything in defeat, and he still kind of helped. And I just hope they don't go back to status quo once it becomes a Goku and Vegeta story again.
Yeah, so that is the sorry.
And I also hope like after this movie, since this just like takes place 1 year before the end of Z, They don't just go like, yeah, let's do more stories before we reach the end of the. At this point, just go past the end of the. Like, when will you actually do something with Wolf?
No, I agree with that, but like I do think that okay. So here's the thing. There could be a debate made about this, right? And I think this is what the community is going to be debating about. They okay. So they claimed in this movie that Pick Gohan would be the strongest character if you wanted to. If you wanted to be. So this transformation that we saw could be the strongest transformation of any of them, like Vegeta and Goku. So like he could have surpassed Vegeta and Goku with this transformation, because that's what the movie was stating, in my opinion. Is like if Gohan wanted to be strong, the strongest, he could be the strongest, because in the end of Z, right, he was technically the strongest. If you look Ultimate Gohan,
yeah,
he was the strongest. So is this the way for them to make Gohan the strongest one? But if that is the case, then he needs to be treated better in the future and not be treated like a side character like he has been in majority of iterations after Z happened. Or even in Z itself, like the Kid Buu fight should have had like the strongest fighter, Gohan, involved in, but they never did. So the questions will be asked. What's going to happen going forward with these characters? But when it comes to this movie, I want to ask your opinion, because I think it's the time to give us give our final thoughts about it. How would you rate this movie, and what did you overall think of this movie? About just tell me all about it.
So here's the thing, people keep saying your opinion can change within 1 year. I've given this movie 5 or 4 watching, and during this time I still my opinion, even with the subtitle, my opinion is always sticking with an 8. I liked it more than I liked the Broly movie, and that's simply because 2 of my favorite characters actually got some love, and they didn't just make be what you call it, Broly. I like Broly a lot, but it's I've been watching Piccolo and Gohan since I was a kid, and this is more basically now you've given Gohan some love and you've given Piccolo some love. You've given them a lot more love than I wanted you to, which is nice. Besides the one part about Cell, and I'm about to get into it.
Go for it.
Besides the one part about Cell, I've forgiven everything. Even though I felt that this was a strange decision, I was like, okay, well, I either went from I can forgive it, I can explain this, or I don't care about this guy, so whatever. And I actually like that this happened, even though it happened in a weird way. Cell part is the most annoying. I always knew I'm not going to like this guy, because after everything I heard about him being a giant and then having noseless cells, and he's not going to have any personality. And I think I've shown you some concept art, and I just was afraid. I knew heading into it, I'm not going to like this. There are certain parts where I had very, very low expectations, and I saw him the thing where he's shooting people from his beauty spots or using the revenge death ball. That was actually cool. The shooting missiles from his body parts is actually a callback to the Godzilla thing. And I don't know much of Godzilla, and I don't think I would ever watch Godzilla. But I got the callback because other people said it, a callback, and then they showed a picture. But these are Cell was doing cool stuff. Some of his a lot of the moves he was using was the beam and the energy balls shooting from his eye and everything. Those were cool. My biggest problem with Cell Max was, so this entire movie, when they were not promoting, they really, I'll give to it this, they were really hiding the final villain. They didn't say a single thing about the villain, and you were just going off on a rumor that Cell's returning. And then some other people said that Cell's actually returning and Cell's coming back this way and that way. When I saw what he would potentially look like, I was fucking scared. Because then you just I like Cell. he's like the first character I saw, and the first time I saw him like the perfect form, I thought that was like the coolest transformation. I still like Cell. I always like when you're introducing Frieza back 3 times and you're bringing back Oob as a good guy. I think Cell not coming back is a bit unfair to him. And when I was like going off on this rumor that Cell's returning, I was actually anticipating this movie more because I wanted Cell back, at least for one fight or something. I would have even liked if he came back as a good guy. And it's a bit of a tangent, but now here, like, bear with me here. When I saw that this is how he's going to return, I would have never wanted him to return. I just wish they went with a new villain instead. Because even though Cell Max is technically a new villain, they knew what they were doing. They were obviously bringing Cell back in a different way. And the way they brought him back just sucked. And I was going to hate him. I didn't even hate him. I just felt so bad for him. Because he came back as this mindless, retarded, Bio Broly knockoff. He's screaming, he's getting beaten up by everyone, including Krillin and Pat Goting. Pat Goting is the guy who broke his head. And here's another thing. This motherfucker can't even regenerate. Why couldn't it just be like, you know what, let's just try to behead him instead of... Like, wouldn't beheading... If he can't regenerate, then wouldn't just beheading work? Wouldn't you just like cut off his head instead of needing to destroy his entire head? Like, just cut off... How do I say? Just behead him instead of destroying that obviously strong shell that he had. The other thing, the noseless thing, I don't know why. This is why I felt like the editor who was telling Toriyama to give him a perfect form did absolutely nothing wrong. Toriyama deserves these kinds of people. You basically got back Cell, and he's like, if you're going to bring someone back and he resembles nothing of what the other character did, then like, what's the point? At least with Oob, you brought a good Boo, and he was going to be a totally different character. This one is obviously a callback to the other one. Oob is nothing. Oob is not a callback. He's just a reincarnation.
Right.
Cell is just like a straight up callback to the other Cell. He's a bio android. He's evil, and he's going to be way more powerful. But what we liked about the other Cell is like here's another thing. Oob has a character. This one doesn't. And Cell was not just known for being strong and having a cool design. He was a scheming, manipulative, and even like a bit eloquent. Right? Like his entire appeal is that he basically is kind of like an evil Goku, evil Vegeta, stronger Frieza, and King Cold and evil Piccolo. And he has like personality of all. And he's also scheming and cunning. He manipulated Vegeta into giving him a perfect form. Then when he was losing to Gohan, he had like a backup plan to make sure even if he doesn't win, he's going to take out everyone with him. So even though he loses the battle, he wins the war. And this entire, like, he was like scheming and cunning and like just fun to watch. And then you introduce this guy who's like basically Bio Broly in a self look. And another thing is like this is like the second time they got a raging monster that's not speaking. The first time they did it with Broly. This is the second straight movie of Super which they had, and it's basically a screaming, no dialogue Broly.
Yeah.
And they said that he basically has no brain control, but they could easily write out in a way where he got brain control, and he was actually like planning on helping on Dr. Hito, but then he double crossed, or better yet, Dr. Hito got like some of Cell's DNA and like recreated another cell which has the memory of the old cell. But be a bit more scheming or be a bit more cunning instead of mindless. The other problem is he's not regenerating. So I'm just like wondering to myself, what kind of bio android were you been creating? Because they clearly said that this is born from other cells, special cells, which means they're obviously talking about the cells of other fighters. And this is from Dr. Jero's manual. how can you create and how can you create a cell that is based off of the old cells, but he's not regenerating or anything, because the only thing that is left unfinished is basically implanting brain control. But not only is his arm falling off and he can't regenerate it, his colors is washing off. He's basically painted over. It's not his default color. And I get that. You wanted him to be a bit different from the other cells, but there were other ways you could have done it. You could this is something perfection just suggested, and this is a pretty good idea. You could have Cell be Android 16 in a way where he has no problem with anyone besides wanting to kill Gohan, because of directive told him to do so. So after he gets beaten or killed, it's more this is basically something he's just a slave to his own programming, like Android 16 was. But introduce every other thing, gave him a personality or something. But they basically created some bio Broly, and sad thing is this is going to be the last time you'll see Cell. Cell's not going to be recreated. They've made sure to put dialogue to say he won't be recreated. They obviously won't give him back. Frieza can come back 3 times. You're going to see the last of him, sadly. And I'm still kind of holding up hope, and I know it's a bit of a rehash at this point. I know it's a bit ridiculous at this point, but I don't want Cell to go out the way he did in this series, in this movie. Either pull a Boruto series on him, where you remember Momoshiki had a different design in the movie.
Yeah.
Then they redid the arc and he had a different design and different personality altogether. Even the way he fights is different.
Mm-hmm.
They either do this with him, but then that would mean that you just have to rewatch this entire arc again in an anime series, or basically recreate good Cell, which is the perfect Cell, because that's the more iconic version. I don't know why you never went with that. Bring him back as a good guy, and he has all the personality of an old one. Maybe this time a good guy, because now Dr. Hido can recreate a Cell, and Bulma, who is not evil and would not rush Dr. Hido, she can let him do whatever he wants. Maybe this is an incomplete version, and you will never see Cell in a full power. I don't know what I just hate this. And it's not even the fact that I hated his design or the way he's used. Every fighter was beating him up. Orange Piccolo had to go giant for Cell to give him any kind of offense. Otherwise, it was just people bullying up the mentally retarded guy. And you just I started crying.
Yeah, is there more you want to say about that?
I think I'm done.
All right.
I have more, but that's basically all my points in a nutshell.
Okay, well,
Here's
the thing. If you think about it, right? They did point out that, we did assume that Cell would be back in Tournament of Power. A lot of people wanted Cell back and stuff like that. So I do get your point. It's not. You want to Cell back. I want to Cell back, but we didn't want it like this. We didn't want him back like this. Because I'm gonna compare this to Frieza. How the Frieza movie was. They brought back Frieza. Now Frieza is roaming around. We know in this movie that he's roaming around, doing his own thing. We finally get Cell back, and then when we got Cell back, we got him in this form where he's not himself. Even though it makes sense because the way they because he needed more time to come out. So that's why Dr. Hido was not allowing him to come out, because he was going to be a maniac that's going to destroy planets. So this could be an imperfect Cell, but even his imperfect form is so powerful that it's considered to be stronger than even, I think, Goku and Vegeta at the moment. He's supposed to be the most strongest fearsome person. So I can't even imagine how perfect form would be. But what this shows and proves is the fact that Cell can be back in the future if he's worked on. Like, I mean, Dr. Hero is still alive. He's not dead. He could still.
But Tito has no motivation. That's the other problem. Like that's why, like Tito said, it's my fault, and then Bournemouth just like, why don't you redo do something experiments on how you can make someone look younger or something. So they've basically given like, yeah, that's the last to see of Cell. But like that's the problem with like Cell's not as iconic as Frieza. And there are like two things I want to say this too because you reminded me. Frieza came back in the movie, but he still retained his personality and everything.
Yeah.
Cell, on the other hand, has nothing that resembles the old Cell. And if you're doing a callback, at least give us something that would be like, like they're doing the nostalgia bit, but if you're doing a nostalgia bit, you should also be like, like, yeah, like I remember this guy, he's so cool, and this guy never gives me that vibe. Like the absorbing core, absorbing the energy from the Earth's core is a pretty cool concept, and that's why I said like you can have him start off as regular size, and then he can like eventually grow up because he's absorbing too much power. But the other thing I want to say is this is like a marketing problem. Imagine like see the track record of how many times you see in a Dragon Ball game where a giant getter is barely appearing. You have him start off as a kaiju. How good of a as a giant monster? How many of those giant monsters have a track? Like how many of those video games have these giant monsters been playable at? Imagine having your final villain, the deadliest of all, the one they kind of marketed towards as a rumor, and he has nothing to do with any of the games. That's another weird thing that they did. But that's what I'm saying. Like, unlike Frieza, you never will get the instant that this is how they're going to do Cell. I think Cell just they did it. I don't know why they did it.
But isn't this how the original Cell happened too, though? If you think about it, because like our beef was with the androids, but then all of a sudden we have Cell coming in out of nowhere, and he's apparently the best creation of Dr. Gero. But to be fair, the old Cell actually did do villainy things, and he had a mind of his own, to where you actually started hating him. But this one was like, okay, so Gamma 1 and Gamma 2 are good guys now because they're superheroes. So now we need a freaking we need an actual villain who basically is completely maniac and destructive. That makes no sense. So basically, they brought in Cell because they needed tension. They needed the moment where Gohan actually gets a transformation. So they brought in the Cell, and if there isn't Cell, there isn't Super Saiyan 2 Gohan lookalike. So I mean, I guess we got that. So yeah, I do agree. He's like a meaningless addition to this movie. He wasn't really built up the way he should have been. We were told about him, but he wasn't talked about as if he is going to be something very relevant. I mean, we know about Cell, but we don't know about Cell Max. That's the difference. So that's the thing. It's like if you were coming into this movie not watching any of Dragon Ball, and you were to watch this movie, and you would not know what the heck is happening. I'm going to be honest. Like at least we knew who previous Cell was, so we could put 2 and 2 together. But this guy, for people that are watching this for the first time, I don't know why you would watch this movie if you didn't watch like the previous movies. But still, if you were watching this for the first time, you'd be confused who Cell Max is. And I don't think this is a good representation of Cell in general. Even though they gave us like a little bit of background in the beginning, I don't think it's enough to make the Cell even more menacing as he is. He was just a brain dead kaiju, like you said.
And the heroes were bullying like the mentally ill guy and like mentally retarded guy. And you know what? Here's another thing. It's a minor thing. And you had Cell come back as a villain. You had Android 18 participating in a fight against Cell. Android 18, like you didn't show like a single scene or dialogue where Android 18 is like terrified because the last time she saw Cell absorbed her and absorbed her brother. They didn't show anything like to indicate that, oh shit, this guy's back, and something like she's traumatized or shocked, and she could even just say like a single line, it's payback time. No, they just She acted like Krillin would act.
That's a very good point, by the way. That's a very good point. I didn't think about that one. That was a good one. Yeah, because like Android 18 has a lot to do with Cell. She's been she's literally been inside of Cell technically, so she knows the insides and outs of this guy. So the thing is, the fact that she could have died too. Actually, no, didn't Krillin have to make a wish to bring her back?
Yeah, like Gohan kicked her, and like Android 17 straight up died because Cell blew up with him, and he had to bring him back. But there's like no dialogue to indicate that like 18 remembers all the time she like saw Cell, and she should be way more resentful than, let's say, Piccolo would.
That's true. That's true.
And this is the same form that she saw when Cell absorbed her, and whatever. He's just a guy to beat.
Yeah, this wasn't. And the thing is like, as a fan of Cell, I'm a fan of Cell. I'll say right now, I'm a big fan of Cell. Like the thing is that I didn't like this. So I didn't like Cell Max as a representation of a Cell. But what this does though is gives us a bit of data of hope that one day Cell can come back. But the question is, do we want him back? I don't want him back because I don't want them to keep reusing the same shit. I'm gonna be honest.
I get it. That's why I said my demands is a bit ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I kind of still hope that. Like I'm not having this be the last time I see Cell. That's like a bad taste in my mouth. I just want them to either do a good film or recreate this arc, like redo this arc and do like the entire thing with like at least look like perfect Cell or start off as regular size or do things differently with him.
Yeah.
Or this is another idea. They're both in hell and Cell somehow manages to absorb Cell Max. And then you get like a powerful Cell that's able to escape out. But like, no, this is a disrespect, and I'm not going to allow this disrespect.
Well,
I'm not even going to call him Cell. I'm just going to call him Bio Broly.
Bio Cell, yeah. So here's the thing. I mean, if you say this is the final time we're gonna see Cell, you're gonna make a lot of people cry. I'm sorry. Like I can already see tears coming out of my eyes. Is this the final time we're gonna see Cell? No. Knowing Toriyama, knowing Dragon Ball Super, they're gonna eventually bring him back again. But you never know. Maybe he'll be the perfect version. But when it comes to this movie in general, the concept was superhero and villain, and Cell didn't really fit in that concept. Like early on, like they said, that this guy, he looks more like a villain than a superhero. So and you didn't mention anything about Great Salmon, did you?
Like he's basically hyped up, and that was like the main marketing appeal, like the final villain, the deadliest of all. And people they were already hyping it up as like who's going to be the final villain. To then like the rumors came along of Cell coming back, and like people were like, oh shit, I want to see it. And even I was like, oh shit, I want to see Cell, and I would love this movie if they bring back Cell. But after I saw this and before everything I heard, I was just bummed, and I was like, this should have gone with a new character. He is a new character, but not a callback, just entirely. Like basically go with Gamma 3, which is evil version of Gamma. But another thing I wanted to say, I mean, like besides that, I'll go with the positive. I don't want to completely hate on this guy. I felt bad for him. I didn't hate him. I just started crying because it's almost like people kicking down a puppy. The writers were kicking a puppy that didn't do anything wrong, and then all the fighters were kicking down a puppy. Piccolo had to turn giant. The other thing, since I expected him to be a lot larger and like less mobile, where he's just standing there and like moving very, very slowly. I like that he retains his like super speed that he had, and the fight was still good. It was different. I still wish that like they could have the same fight with the regular size Cell, because they did the same thing with Moro. But I still like the fight. I like the revenge death ball. It's just wasted on this guy. But I mean, I know my demand is ridiculous, but I don't want this to be the last time I see Cell, and it's a bit unfair too, because considering that Frieza got a movie of his own, then participated in a tournament of power, then appeared in another movie. And Oob is always like Oob, who is the reincarnation of Kid Buu, is here to stay, and is getting some power of himself too, because apparently he has god power.
Mm-hmm.
I think you can do another part of point of their cell, but it's like the old cell. You can make some alteration, like he's a good guy or something, but I don't want this to be the last time I see him.
Well,
and the other thing,
yeah, go on.
Gamma 1 and 2, right? I like Gamma 2. Gamma 1 was not as interesting, but there are things you can do with him where he's like trying to make up for kind of Miss Gamma 2, even though they won't do it. But I like that they have a different. I was hoping that Gamma 1 is going to be like the big star of the entire duo, but it was Gamma 2, which is nice.
Yeah.
It's an 8 out of 10. It's an 8 out of 10. I like the movie. I've thought it for a time. My rating is still 8 out of 10. I don't have much to complain except for the cell part, but even there are certain things that I like too. So.
Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna give my final thoughts as well, because we did drag this on a bit too much. I think we're reaching 3 hours. Yeah. This is exactly 3 hours. Anyways, I did wanna. Well, I mean, I know you want Cell back, and I think they could bring Cell back. The best part is that Dr. Gero didn't die. Dr. Hito, he didn't die. So the thing is that he's still around. So yeah, in the future you may get Cell back, but he if he can create like a bad Cell, he can create a good Cell as well. So we could probably see a Z Fighter Cell, but would we want to see that? I'm not sure. But Cell still has a future. He can come back one day, because Dr. Hiro still exists, and he knows how to make Cell. And
he's working with Bulma. Bulma won't rush him like Magenta would.
Right. So he could create a different Cell, like a completely different one, like a superhero type, who has a different personality and stuff like that. So Cell still has a future, but I just didn't like this iteration. But when it comes to, hey, you mind if I do a shameless plug as well in the end?
Which one? What?
Do you mind if I do a shameless plug in the end?
Yeah, sure.
All right, cool. I'm gonna do that in the end. But anyways, going back to the movie, I felt like the movie was solid for what it was. Story wise, it wasn't the greatest. I don't think the story was good. Story for any Dragon Ball movies are not good in my opinion. But I did like because Dragon Ball for me is more about characters. It's not really all about just the story. So I like the fact that the focus was Piccolo. Piccolo was the winner for me. I'm a big fan of Piccolo. I felt like he was very underrated, underutilized for a long time, but I'm glad that Piccolo got the shine. I like that. And then also Gohan. I really like Gohan a lot. It's unfortunate, we saw great glimpses of him in the beginning, like Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, for example. That was when I was like, okay, yeah, this is the Gohan I want to support. This is the badass Gohan. I like that him and Piccolo got the shine, but I feel like Piccolo was the one that got the most shine. He was the main character overall, in my opinion. So I'm happy that he got the shine. He got it, but I want other characters to get that too. There's still Yamcha. Yamcha is one of their most marketable characters ever. He has so many fans, but he doesn't get the same love in the series, unfortunately. But if I play Dragon Ball FighterZ, you're gonna see a bunch of Yamcha fans. He just has so many great moves like Wolf and Fix and stuff. So I want them to focus on these other characters as well, besides just the Saiyans in general. While I liked Gohan, I felt like he's a Saiyan. So I mean that has been an issue for a long time. But I want them to focus on these other characters too. When it comes to the plot, like I said, the plot wasn't that good. The main villain, I didn't really give a care. The only thing I cared about in this movie was the fights. For some reason, I just wanted to see the fights because the fights were awesome. But that's the thing. It's there wasn't it wasn't so personal to me. The fights weren't so personal to me because the drama, the tension behind it didn't really make me feel too much, right? While I felt a lot for Gamma 2, I felt I don't know, this character is still new to me, and him changing right away and his motives and stuff like that, they weren't as strong to me. But overall, this was a Piccolo movie. I liked what they did with Piccolo. I have no issues with Piccolo. I'll give this movie about 6 out of 10. To me, this movie wasn't great, but for Dragon Ball standards, it was decent. It wasn't too bad. It wasn't too less. I was originally gonna give it 7 out of 10, but after talking through about everything else, I realized that nah, bruh. Maybe I'm being a little biased here. This doesn't deserve a 7. This deserves a 6. I did enjoy the movie, but it was. But once again, if you're gonna just make me see the same thing over and over again, with like the Super Saiyan 2 Gohan coming back with like a stronger version, like I mean, they already did that with Super Vegeta, right? Where they gave that Super Saiyan. What was it? What was that blue form? Yeah, they brought Super Vegeta back in a new color form. Now we got Super Saiyan 2 Gohan with the new color form. I didn't like that at all. Piccolo was the best. Piccolo was the winner, and I also loved Pan in the movie. Piccolo and Pan were the 2 key characters that kept me in this movie. But overall, the rest of the cast, I wasn't too impressed. So that's why, to me, it's a solid 6 out of 10. And I guess this is near the end, so I'm gonna give a shameless plug, guys. Well, it's not a shameless plug because this is more of a collab. If you guys didn't know, I'm actually a streamer. I stream on Twitch, and I stream these days. I've been streaming on YouTube, but that's soon gonna stop. I'm gonna be going back to Twitch. But lately, I've been streaming Tales of Arise on the YouTube. I'm almost done with it, but it's been fun, and I've had a lot of blast. So you guys can check me out in my channels in the description below. Would appreciate the love and support, and I really am honored to be here in this podcast with a masturbator who has been a great friend of mine, and he's a great guy in general. You guys should definitely give him a sub and like and everything else. He deserves it. He's an awesome guy.
I'm honored that you. I'm honored that like what do you call it? Like I'm a bit of a jerk, but yeah. Like on the other hand, like I'll just say my last thought.
Sure.
I got like maybe 7 or 6 would have been a fair rating, but I do Dragon Ball the way it is. It's never going to be different or anything. I basically got what I wanted, and even with Cell, at least he returned. So
yeah,
even that's like considered a point or something. But that's why it's an 8 for me. But yeah, like I'm just judging it as a Dragon Ball. This is like the best Dragon Ball movie I've seen.
It is.
Better than Broly movie.
It is, but you know, I rate those other ones lesser than 6. So
yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, this is the best rating I'm giving in Dragon Ball Super. Yeah, we're gone. Sorry.
But other than that, like I've linked like Natsu Shazneel. You should like subscribe to all of them. And yeah, like thank you for joining my stream, Natsu.
Yeah, no problem.
Even though you don't like Super and I like Super, we could like still come to an agreement about stuff.
Oh yeah.
And Natsu is like a pretty good player in Fighter Z. I've seen some of his clips. You should like really subscribe to him. And if you like the stream, leave a like and subscribe for more awesome content. It's a shame Wolf isn't here, but Wolf would have argued about Cell Max with you. And I told you like Cell conversation was going to really, really last long. But other than that.
No, that was interesting though. I enjoyed it. Yeah. But I enjoyed the stream. Thank you for having me. See you guys next time.
Bye.